Hello, everybody, and welcome to the. I guess this is the Scope Lens, really. Scope Lens, Wide Lens, Mythologicast. I don't know what I'm going to call this segment, but this is a very important podcast because we are talking about Generation 6.5, Generation 7, and generally the fuck ton of new information that's been coming in the past few weeks. And we have a lot of batshit crazy theories and a lot of cold, hard facts. So, welcome, Weston and Cutler, or Andrew and Cutler, sorry.
Hey there, great to be here.
Cutler.
He said it all.
Cutler is my friend Swift from Pokeamino. Please follow me on Pokeamino at PatPlaysTPT. And Swift at
The Swift Swalo.
And Andrew,
Actually,
do you have a Pokeamino?
Actually, Andrew does.
Yep, just right at Andrew Weston.
I thought you changed it to Crocodile.
I'm not sure if I have or not.
What is
Anyway.
what's it with you two in adjectives?
Because they're important.
Very important. But I'm actually debating between Crooked Crocodile and the Crocodile King. Cutler wants me to really call myself the Crocodile King.
Anyway, so if you look at the image that's up, we have a few all-stars, okay? We have Zygarde, Hoopa, Volcanion, DNC, the Hiker, the Strange Souvenir, and the new Gen 7 Pokemon. Now, I'm here, the first cold hard fact that I'm dropping is that this new Pokemon is not Zygarde. Because it is seen at the very end of the movie as a teaser coming out of the logo, even though the actual picture of the logo of it coming out is fake, it cannot be part of Zygarde if it only appears at the end of the movie. This is the first Gen 7 Pokemon, just like Donphan for Generation 2 and Victini for Generation 5. This is the first Gen 7 Pokemon.
Wait,
They did the same thing.
Victini was revealed before
I think
Zoroark?
it's number 00. Oh, no, it was Zoroark. That was the first.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Zoroark was the
Zoroark.
first Gen 5,
Right.
much like
Victini's
Lucario
just
was for Gen
number
4.
000 in the Pokedex.
And with Lugia, not Lugia, Latios and Latios for Gen 3.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, that's the first cold hard fact. This is a Gen 7 Pokemon we're looking at, which made me very scared. Because the movie that's coming out that's giving us all this information, if that was going to be a movie leading directly into Generation 7, then all of this stuff about Generation 6 would be left to rot, which would be bad. Because that would make Gen 6 suck even more than it does. And
It definitely
would mean
would.
that Game Freak is on a trend of abandoning plot for the sake of generating more games for less money. And I had a legitimate fear. I was going on rants on Twitter about if this is about Generation 7, this movie, then they're skipping all the stuff in Generation 6 and they're going on a trend of not caring about plot anymore. Which would be the end of Pokemon for me. Not really, but still.
You
But
do
I'm
bring
here
up
to
a
say
great
that all the stuff in the movie is going to lead to a Generation 6.5 game. And that Generation 7 is still peacefully in the future, but that Generation 6.5 is going to be heavily influenced by Generation 7. So, before we get into Generation 6.5, which will take up most of the talk, let's keep talking about Generation 7. Friends, what is the one source of information for Generation 7 that we have?
The internet.
No, in X and Y.
Oh, in X and Y.
Speak up a little bit, by the way.
The one thing we have for so far, well, the Strange Souvenir hasn't been done anything with yet.
But who do you get the Strange Souvenir from?
Backpacker.
The Backpacker is the sole source of all of our Generation 7 information. And what does the Backpacker gives you an item after you have triggered him enough? It is the Strange Souvenir, this little wooden idol thing. Or I think it's wood.
Well, kind of
So-
weird, but it makes me think of Elgyem.
The new Pokemon, yeah.
Yeah.
But that Strange Souvenir, what does that make you think of, my friends?
Elgyem. That's what I was talking about.
The Strange Souvenir is the thing on the left.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Elgyem? Oh, huh. Well,
Yeah, at least
I
to
think
me.
it looks like a small wooden idol.
It does look like a small wooden idol, and it even says in the item description, of which I am reading straight from the item description itself, it is an ornament depicting a Pokemon that is venerated as a protector in some region far from Kalos. Because of that description, we can clearly state that this thing is not from the Kalos region.
Yes, so technically that's the first Generation 7 Pokemon.
Essentially, but we have no idea
God,
what
a
it is.
Tiki Pokemon's going to be so cool looking. It's going to be like the thing from Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
But do you know what we also need to agree on? There needs to be a new Crash game.
Oh
There
my
really
God.
does.
Stop. We went off topic talking about Five Nights at Freddy's 3 in the pre-podcast before this for like an hour.
Yeah,
Right.
we did. So we need to keep this Pokemon.
Yes.
Anyway,
Okay.
going back to
So,
Pokemon.
Yeah.
Enough about Crash. Back to Pokemon.
It is the thing that he stresses the most is that it is a region different from anything we as the public, as all gamers he is speaking to, as all fans of Pokemon have ever seen. We have been to 4 different places of Japan. We have been to America, and we have been to France. We have been to cold places. We have been to hot places. We have been to places with little deserts in them, places with giant cities. What have we not seen in the Pokemon world?
We haven't seen anything that has to do with
Africa.
actual deities. We haven't seen anything to do with Africa. We haven't seen anything to do with deities. And because of the fact that Africa hoses Egypt, which
Which is just the star player of Africa. Sorry.
it is,
I know it's like, Middle Eastern. Well, it's the star player of the continent.
and because of which, you and I were talking about this earlier, how rad would that be if they made this an Egyptian totem?
It doesn't look that Egyptian. It looks more West African. But the
True.
thing that
Yeah.
Pokemon does is, look at Unova. Unova is all of America compressed into one New York City.
Exactly.
If you
Pretty
just
much.
had the Nile Delta, or the triangle area near the Red Sea, that little bit on the very tip of Africa, if you compressed all of African culture into that point for a Pokemon region, plus the Pokemon regions are getting bigger and bigger every game.
They
Sinnoh
are.
was gigantic. Kalos, while you can cross all of it in like 5 minutes, which is a bit weird that it seems like it's only 15 miles across or so, it's still really big because you see during the X and Y cutscenes in the past that it is all of France, and on the map it's all of France. We're getting entire countries in one region, where the last time we had to fit 4 regions in one country. And Unova, while being very, very tiny, essentially the size of one city, in, whatever, we could fit a lot of Africa in one big landmass. So
I'm actually starting to think that maybe we could, if you take some of the inside curve of Africa, it could almost look like half land, half water, kind of like what Hoenn is.
oh god, yeah. Not to mention the very fact that the Nile Delta and the Mediterranean, the Red Sea, and the Sahara Desert, and the Nile, and the Nile, and the Nile. Like, it just,
And even more than Nile. Like, just so many great
we've
concepts for this new
been to
region.
East Asia. I know Japan doesn't represent all of East Asia, but we've been to the Eastern Hemisphere with the archipelagos and all the islands in the Ring of Fire. We've been to the heads of Western civilization with an English-speaking and a French-speaking country. We haven't been to Britain, but fuck it. The only continent, other than fuck it, Australia, and Antarctica, the only continent that people live on year-round that has countries that we haven't even touched on is Africa. And
Actually,
I know-
there is one more. There is South America.
Oh shit! Yeah. Huh. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Eventually.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's a South African totem. That's definitely West Africa.
Yeah, it's definitely African.
That's definitely
Definitely.
African. But I would
and-
like them to take something from South Africa soon.
Oh yeah, South Africa is next on the list. Unless it's like
No,
Another-
sorry, I mean South America. Did I
South
say
America,
Africa?
Yeah. We both did. We both meant South America.
We meant South America.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Anyway,
that's the big bombshell, is that we think that Gen 7 takes place in an African region.
Like, in an African,
in
region,
an
yeah.
Africa, in
Esque.
basically Unova, but Africa.
yeah.
How Unova was
Basically,
all of American
yeah.
culture in one place, with it the Arizona desert and all this stupid stuff and all that. But we would have like the Nile Delta or the bit of land, the Sinai Peninsula, with all of Africa comprised in it, with what's the capital of Egypt?
Cairo.
Cairo, yeah.
That's
with
it.
a Cairo kind of city in its tip. And we could fit all this culture in there. Like, think of how much culture was just fit in the in the upper northern part of Kalos, with that city in the Pokemon
Laver
Factory.
City.
Laver City and all of what's around it. That's one city and its surrounding areas. You can represent a lot of Africa with just a city in Pokemon.
You
and
can.
It's one place that has not been touched at all. We've had French people way before Kalos. But
Oh, yes, we have.
we've never had anything. The only thing with Africa was Mew was found in, what was it, Ghana or something? No, not Ghana.
Like, you know what, actually? I think Mew was found in South America.
No. Mew was found in Africa.
Okay.
It was found in the Congo, I think.
What?
No, it wasn't the Congo.
Hold
Get on
on,
Wikipedia.
give me 1 minute. Hold that thought, yo.
Intermission.
I'm still thinking South America.
Hold on, I'm about to do research.
What are you humming?
I know what it is.
The Red Battle theme.
I started with Ruby and Sapphire theme, and then I ended up with a battle theme. Kind of happens when you hum Pokemon.
It
Hey,
does.
well, how can you not love Red's battle theme? But have you ever noticed that
Speak
you
up a
can
bit.
actually sing the Pokemon theme song just by singing Dredigan?
Okay, guys.
Speak up a bit. Get closer to the mic.
All right.
I'm
So
like an inch and a half from my mic.
here's the deal, yo.
Can you get just a
Mew?
bit closer?
Mew was found in Ghana. You are correct.
Right.
Okay.
But Ghana is in South America.
Damn it.
Wait, no. Ghana is in West Africa.
Yeah.
I'm reading it straight off of a page that clearly states that Mew was discovered deep in the jungles of Ghana, South America on July 5th. The year is not specified. And named on July 10th, and that it gave birth, quote unquote, to Mewtwo on February 6th.
But we all know that
All
Gen
of
1 is
this-
bullshit.
Well, yeah, but it was apparently found in South America.
So yeah, when the backpacker says that it is nothing like you have ever seen or heard from Africa, now that we've confirmed that South America has been mentioned, even in a bullshit part of the game series, we have never heard anything from Africa, which goes to say that it is the only place in the entire world, other than Antarctica, and like Russia. No, there was a Gen 1 thing about Russia.
Wait, was there?
Yeah, a guy from Silphco was sent to Siberia.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay,
because
I
apparently
never remembered that.
Yeah, this is the generation that talks about the Eiffel Tower and Ponyta jumping over it. So we can kind of ignore all that bullshit. But point being is
Yeah.
that even counting that bullshit, Africa is the only place never mentioned. So it is the only place that could be such a mystery as this guy is saying. Plus, West African Totem kind of gives it away.
Pretty much.
So, what is special about Africa? We'll get to that in a sec, because there's another thing that I like to point out. So let's turn our eyes to our mascots here. Zygarde, Hoopa, Volcanion, and Diancie. There's something peculiar about something here. Hoopa's Unbound form is a little out of place. I think we can all agree. Nothing in the Pokemon world has ever looked like this. Ever. Diancie, it's Pokemon-y. It has that happy face. Zygarde, it's blank and monstrous. It has a Pokemon face. Volcanion, it's very emotive and angry. It has a Pokemon face. Hoopa Unbound is too smart and sadistic to be a Pokemon. That's just not a Pokemon by any definition we've ever had. It just doesn't fit. It's from a different dimension. It has control of dimensions. It has a godly power.
I mean, if it can summon Arceus, then yeah, it's got a godlike power.
And look at it. It looks like a deity. Like
Forget
it looks
deity.
even more deity. It looks even more deitic and godlike than, the gods from Magic the Gathering's Nyx and Theros. It looks like a deity.
It kind of looks like a deity/demon, even.
Exactly. It's very demony. It's an asshole.
Demonic.
Also,
That's
it's
the
an
word.
ass.
Well, yeah, like
Yes.
remember when he first saw Hoopa and we were like, "Oh, it's a cute little prankster thing." Then we see this version and we're just like,
What the hell
"Oh,
is this?
it is the worst thing to ever grace the Pokemon world. It is the most dangerous entity ever to exist." Cuz even all the stuff that happened in Generation 4, that was split up between 3 mascots, a creator, and 3 lake guardians that were made to keep everything in order, and that you would need all 3 of them to make the red chain in order for all this to happen, or take Arceus to the Shinto ruins. This is all in one package. All it needs to be is to be unbounded by the bounding bottle, which makes not very much sense.
If I
No.
may. The item in question is known as the prison bottle, which I have. And let's see, what do you do? The prison bottle clearly states that it is a bottle believed to have been used to seal away power of a certain Pokemon long, long ago. Which obviously makes sense because they're sealing away the dark powers that Hoopa contains. Which brings to a question as to why Game Freak decided building such a godlike Pokemon was such a good idea.
Yes, because this thing is... People will be like, "Oh, it looks so weird because it's a genie. It's a genie. It's a genie." Yeah, it's a genie, but it's an asshole genie. Only gods are assholes like that. And
It's true.
I don't mean gods like Arceus, because Arceus comes from Gen 4, the generation of responsibility. Even the renegade Pokemon is serious. Giratina
Yes.
he has responsibility. He's not an asshole. He just needs to cover the bad part of the universe.
Yeah.
But
I mean-
Hoopa, no Pokemon has ever looked smarter than a human in terms of, like, able to...
Like, just looks.
No, just like, yeah, sure, an Alakazam can be smarter than a human, but it doesn't have as many human emotions as a human can have. All Pokemon can have all these range of emotions and everything, but, and there are Pokemon that make plans and all of this, but you don't see a Pokemon build a building. You don't see a Pokemon lead a genocide. You don't see a Pokemon create... You don't see a Pokemon have that look on its face, that confidence, that universal omniscient look.
Like,
that is a god.
if you remember the introduction to Lucario and the Mystery of Mew, where those 2 Pokemon armies were attacking each other, even the humans were in the squads, you never saw a Pokemon sort of lead the way there.
Yes, this Hoopa doesn't look like something that would be on the battlefield, like in the Wars of X and Y or that movie. This looks like a Pokemon that would be in the skies, in the constellations of the world.
Like, even above Rayquaza.
Yes.
Yes,
Which is a very
exactly.
important thing. This is a Pokemon not just from space. This is a Pokemon from a different dimension.
And it goes beyond Dialga, Palkia, and Giratina.
Exactly. Dialga
Okay,
and Palkia
but-
and Giratina have godlike abilities, but they don't have Dietic-style sass.
No, they don't. I mean, let's look at what Hoopa's able... Let's look at what Hoopa does in Clash of Ages. Hoopa, by itself, is able to summon the Weather Trio.
In their primal forms and Mega.
It's able to summon the Creation Trio. It summons Kyurem. It summons Arceus. It summons Latios and Latias.
Both in Mega.
drawback. With no drawback. It doesn't get tired.
No, it's able to... Okay, let's go... I've got its Pokedex description, actually, right here in front of me. It is said
course
to be
you do.
able to seize anything it desires with its 6 rings and 6 huge arms. With its power sealed, it is transformed into a much smaller form. What I don't like about this is the first part. It is said to be able to seize anything it desires. Yes, Arceus is able to create whatever it wants.
But
it's able
it creates
to...
out of responsibility. It is its
It
job.
does. Hoopa
It's just doing what it wants.
See, that's what separates a deity from a god, or a god from a deity, or it separates what we're talking about from what they're talking about. Creatures like Dialga and all other legendaries ever have responsibility.
Like, even if they have to do something that wouldn't be considered great, like, even if they have to, like,
Yeah,
destroy
there are legendaries
Unova
that
or
are
something
a bit
like
of an
that.
asshole or something, but they don't have their own wishes that exceed beyond the universe.
Okay,
They don't
It's
have
their responsibility
desires
to do it.
Yes, if they do, they have responsibility not to do it. Hoopa, it's just
There.
it's out of this world. It really is.
It does what it wants because it can.
Yes, and it is a threat to everything. You
It
know,
is.
it's like when that asshole in the even though he's not much of an asshole, he's kind of supposed to do a Jewish job. In the Dragon Ball Z movie that came out last year, a fucking god shows up. And not like, oh, Shenron's a god, or this guy's a god, or I'm as powerful as a god. No, a literal god from a different dimension shows up. Who could just wave his hand and the entire universe is gone. And the only one able to stop him is someone who's just really, really tough.
No, the only thing that was technically able to keep him at bay was pudding.
But Hoopa is that. Hoopa can wreck the entire universe.
But that raises a question. If something that powerful needs to be contained,
What the fuck is in that bottle?
Then why do they trust such a small object like a bottle? I mean, they should hide it in ruins or something. I don't know.
Stay in bottles, I guess. I don't know. Maybe someone made the bottle out of one of Hoopa's hoops.
I have an idea.
Maybe, but there's just got to be better ways, people.
Alright. Something that Andrew said about why wouldn't they hide the prison bottle in a ruin. Let's think about this for a minute, because Hoopa itself is a Generation 6 Pokemon. But we have seen ruins before, as in the Relic Castle, and the sunken ruins off the coast of whatever town that happens to be. Yeah, we've got those.
Wait, which city?
It's a city in Unova.
The one that's on the right-hand side that you have to have dive in order to go get to, that one.
The only time dive is ever used in that game.
Yep.
Oh, on Delatown.
Yes.
Thank you, that's what it is. Okay, but you've got that ruin there, and they mention different things in that.
Yeah, there's a king and something about something.
Yeah. Now think about this for a second. Why would they have to sink a ruin like that has something to do with an all-powerful king? I'm pointing at Hoopa while I say this. Technically, if the ruins underwater were there for a reason, which they were, and you read all of the hieroglyphs that are there, they all translate out to some powerful king, which could very easily represent Hoopa and its godlike power, which means they could have hidden the prison bottle in there and it was discovered.
Yes. Exactly. And so here's the thing, okay? Mm-hmm. Yes, people say that Hoopa is a deity and that, yes, it has very Pokemon-like qualities and everything, but Hoopa is not the only one of its kind to look different. And it's also not the only one of its kind to be sealed away in the way that you would have to seal something more powerful than Arceus. What's the last time a Pokemon was sealed away that was a really big deal?
Other than Giratina?
Yeah, Giratina is kind of out of the situation because of the red chain and all of that.
And plus, like we mentioned before,
people, Snowpoint Temple,
Regigigas.
Regigigas looks kind of like Hoopa in terms of it's fucking gigantic. It is big. Essential.
You know what? Yeah, you got a point there.
And we have to bring it up at some point because I was expecting to start on Zygarde like we did in the pre-show, but Zygarde has this form that was leaked in the Korokoro magazine that's going to be in the movie. Okay, you can see it in the lower left hand of the picture. It's a new Zygarde form that's a giant colossal titan. It's big. It's just bigger than anything we've ever seen. It's bigger than Regigigas.
It's bigger than Regigigas.
When you read Zygarde's Pokedex entry, it talks about when the environment is disrupted, it unleashes its secret power.
Okay, I have...
Which has to be that alternate form.
Yes, and there are very, very few Pokemon that we know very, very little about that have forms as big or as powerful as that. Hoopa, Regigigas, this Zygarde form, and really not much else. You can say the Primal Legendaries, but they're different.
They are.
They are different.
Because they don't have to be sealed away. They just need a really powerful Pokemon to beat their asses until they go underground or underwater and hide. Regigigas had to be sealed away. Hoopa had to be sealed away. And the only reason Zygarde didn't have to be sealed away because it sealed itself away because it only comes out when it needs to. Sure, we could say responsibility and everything, but it does it out of its own will. It wants to keep things in order.
Yeah.
That's why it's called the Order Pokemon.
Yes. It's not like Arceus where it has a job to do. It makes a job. And that's what makes Zygarde different from everything else. It's sitting in that cave, and it has this sense that the environment is more important than any political struggle that could be going on right now. And it knows that if humans or Pokemon or something, notice how it thinks of itself as different from a Pokemon, are having issues, then those living things are not as important as the stability of the entire region. Or the lives of the natural things in that area are more important. So if a colossal thing like a meteor smashing or some super weapon coming out happens, or Hoopa gets it released and starts fucking everything up, Zygarde, out of its own will turn itself into this mode. Note how it doesn't have a certain event heaping it, like the red orb or something. It can go into that mode whenever it wants. That's the god level or deity level of that Pokemon. It can do that whenever it wants.
I like where you're going.
How do you know that?
Because when the environment is disrupted, it unleashes its secret power. Note how it doesn't say it is unleashed or it blah 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 or the natural disturbance makes it do this. When something is wrong, it chooses to release.
Yeah, but is there anything like an item that is required to turn it into this other form, or can it do it completely out on a whim?
That's what we think.
Okay.
So it's not like
Kyurem,
where it has to have the DNA splices infused with
never been
Zekrom
an
Reshiram.
item associated with Zygarde ever. Also, it gets 2 new moves that we'll talk about in a sec.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Speaking of all of this lovely Zygardeness and it's protecting the ecosystem and whatnot.
Just like Rayquaza.
I have a Pokedex description, and I have a couple of things that I need to bring up that coexist with what you're talking about. The Alpha Sapphire Pokedex description states that it's hypothesized that it's monitoring those who destroy the ecosystem from deep in the cave where it lives. Now, that brings up to the point that you mentioned earlier, Pat, but...
It can see through the ground.
It can, but here's the thing, though. What is Yveltal the embodiment of?
Death.
Destruction.
Now, its ability is, what, Dark Aura?
Yes.
It powers up dark moves.
Which powers up its dark moves. And because Yveltal is the embodiment of destruction, you have to look at Zygarde's ability, which is Aura Break, which diffuses Aura abilities.
Which doesn't just... here's why Zygarde is more important than just a title legendary. It's more important than just Rayquaza because it affects outside its region. Aura abilities are on the Unova legendaries, which are the most secluded legendaries ever to exist other than Jirachi.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, pretty much.
All Aura abilities.
Of course, you do realize that
it might even affect Groudon Kyogre.
Yeah, you do realize though that word that I can't seem to say right now.
Hypothesis.
That would technically shuts down Lucario as well.
Yeah, sure. Seriously, this thing is more important than life. It is not a protector of living things. It is a protector of the ground, of the planet.
It is a protector of the world in which we live in.
Value. It is a protector of the thing that keeps it alive, the ground that it can see through. It's an extension of itself. There's a reason why it's a ground dragon.
I really hate to get sort of off topic again, but it's basically the Viridi of Pokemon.
Yeah,
He's right.
I think I get the reference. Except instead of grass and nature and forest,
Yeah.
it's the ground itself.
Yeah, he essentially just totally made a Criticus Uprising reference. And it actually works, because with Viridi being the goddess of nature and all that other fun, and with Zygarde
When
being
you think
the
of
defender
Viridi's
of everything.
personality, Viridi knows that what Viridi values most is more important than any of this other political shit between gods and demons or whatever. Angels and gorgons and all that.
Whatever.
It knows that this stuff is so important that I'm going to make a bomb that resets everything back to nature. Because all you living things can go fuck yourselves.
Yeah.
That's why only Zygarde, only the earth itself, can be a counter to both life and death. Because if it were a counter to death, then that would mean that Xerneas would have an unfair advantage. If it were a counter to just life, then Yveltal would have an unfair advantage. No.
It has to be a perfect balance.
Which is rock, the earth, the ecosystem.
Yeah.
Now, let's get to what has come in the new patch. Zygarde has 2 new moves, which help explain this. Those are 1,000 Arrows and 1,000 Waves. Base 90 physical ground type moves. And what 1,000 Arrows does is Zygarde shoots 1,000 green hexagonal crystal thing arrows off the top of its head, and they rain across the entire battlefield. This move is ground type, yet it hits every Pokemon no matter its flying or levitate capabilities.
So it's basically an earthquake on steroids.
Yes, it hits everything. I don't know if it hits teammates, but 1,000 Waves is more interesting. 1,000 Waves sends ripples through the earth. And any Pokemon hit by this move, it hits everything, but not things that are flying or whatever. Any Pokemon hit by this move can no longer switch out or escape. It looks the entire field.
And does damage.
A lot of damage. So, let's think about that. 2 moves that have to do with 1,000. Something that is unavoidable no matter what your circumstance is. And something that keeps you from leaving. That's one hell of a guardian.
It's like saying, you are the environment, you're going to hell, you can't escape your fate.
No. Not you're going to hell. It's I am the earth. I am the ecosystem. Okay? I can see through the earth. I can watch the world from my cave. I don't have eyes. These eyes are just glowy bits. They don't see. I don't peek out from a volcano or something. I reach into the earth. I'm a snake. I feel the earth and I see what's going on out there. And when I want to fuck shit up, I turn to a giant titan. So it's saying that I am the earth, you are the earth, and I control the earth, therefore I control you. Therefore, no matter how high up in the air you are, and no matter how fast you run, you cannot escape. My judgment will come unto you.
So essentially what you're saying is Zygarde has Terra Location.
Yes. Essentially.
Okay.
And this is an ability unlike anything else before.
Yes. Nothing
has ever controlled such an infinite possibility. Yes, something has control over the flow of time or the, flow of space. But those Pokemon can't just fuck around. They have jobs to do. And if they fuck around, then Arceus will make a new one. Speaking of Arceus, how many arms does Arceus have?
1,000?
Arceus has 1,000 arms.
And Arceus is a certain protector. Zygarde has 1,000 arrows and 1,000 waves. It's almost like it's twice as good as Arceus at protecting what it needs to protect.
So speaking of Arceus again, something that you and I were discussing earlier was...
When you think about Arceus, you think of the 1,000 arms, but it has no arms.
It has exactly. And when you look at Arceus, stating it has 1,000 arms,
can you speak up a little bit? Just get closer to the mic.
If you think about it for a minute, Arceus having 1,000 arms brings the Pokemon multiverse into effect because Arceus having 1,000 arms doesn't make sense because you can't see them.
So
Those
therefore,
1,000 arms
So
are...
therefore, imagine this. Okay, let me do it this way.
Okay.
Imagine a really big Arceus that looks slightly different. Imagine like a primal Arceus or a Mega Arceus or something. Imagine one that stands on 2 feet and has hair and a mustache or a goatee thing and a personality and a face. Then imagine 1,000 Arceuses floating around this guy, kind of like Hoopa's hands. Okay?
Yeah.
Hoopa
Okay, that's cool.
can reach with its hands, which are separated from its body. It has 6 hands, but no arms. It can reach into other dimensions and pull stuff. Arceus is, in my opinion, some super powerful entity in the blind eternities of the multiverse, Magic the Gathering reference, and its 1,000 arms are the Arceus that live in all the thousands of universes of the multiverse. Each Arceus is not just doing its job because it needs to, but because it's not sentient. It's just a hand of this super powerful thing. And the reason why Arceus has 1,000 arms is because it's one of the 1,000 arms. And your universe is just one of thousands.
That also may be the reason why Arceus's type changes with every plate, because each Arceus is different and is able to change.
Yeah, fits to
Just
whatever
like
universe it
everything
needs to
else.
fit to. So that whole egg story might be true about the original Arceus. This
The whole egg
one
story,
godlike Arceus, which probably looked a lot more like Hoopa or primeval Xerneas or Regigigas, spawned out of an egg out of chaos, and then grew 1,000 arms, touched and took this giant swirling mass of chaos, and split it up into space-time and antimatter, yeah, but also it split it up into 1,000 multiverses, and created 1,000 versions of itself to patrol these multiverses. And then each one of those 1,000 made all these other legendaries. How else would we have 1,000 multiverses with 1,000 Arceus? The only other way would be that if that creation happened 1,000 times in 1,000 different multiverses. But it makes a lot more sense if all those multiverses were created at once by one Arceus, who then made 1,000 Arceus to watch all of them.
Yeah.
That definitely
Because
isn't a baseless assumption.
Because if you catch Groudon, technically speaking, and if you kill Groudon, or if you seal away forever, Groudon has a job to do. It's not like the other legendaries where if you seal it, that's okay. Arceus will make another Groudon. If you go to Spear Pillar, and if you go all the way to the top with the Azure Flute, you can catch or feint Arceus. What happens if you catch Arceus and then seal it away or break or kill it? There has to be a way for another Arceus to be made. Arceus is just one of 1,000 hands. He can regrow back a hand. The real Arceus is out there somewhere in space.
Or time, or in its own dimension, where it watches over everything.
Like Nico Bolas floating in the blind eternities.
Pretty much.
Yep.
So, we've talked about Zygarde and Hoopa and Arceus. So, want to go on to DNC?
I would love to go on to DNC. Now,
Time
you
to
and
talk about meteors, people. We're going to talk about DNC, the ultimate weapon, Deoxys, mutation, probably talk about Pokerus for a while, and the legendaries, the Weather Trio.
Oh, don't forget that we have to talk about Megastones too, because those are important.
Yeah. So
yes, we do.
A long time ago, there was a meteor, and it was going to hit the Earth and everything. But before it hit the Earth, it passed by the Earth a few times. This triangle thing in the sky, which was portrayed in the cave, in the paintings, in the cave paintings and in the paintings along the Spear Pillar, this meteor flew past the Earth many times in the past without crashing into it. Each time it flew by, disaster came. And it powered up these Pokemon. It was like this little demon in the sky that was like, heh, you're all gonna die once you see me. I bring the apocalypse. Then, one day, this thing finally is crashing down. And humans create an idea, let's send it into a different dimension. But then a protagonist comes along with a Rayquaza, goes up in the sky, blows it up, and bam, there's a little triangle that turns into Deoxys and you fight it. That Deoxys used to be a space virus. Some laser, I guess, hit space a long time ago, then turned this virus into a sentient being who then could control this meteor and then smash it wherever it wanted to. So there was a space virus floating in space. There was a laser, some kind of big super weapon, but sadly it wasn't the super weapon that AZ shot off. Sadly, we don't see it crash into a meteor. But something, maybe we'll find a laser legendary Pokemon that shoots lasers into space.
Who knows?
Something hit this. And there was a lot on board. And maybe it was a lot of different ones with a lot of different stuff on board, but there was a little space virus that got hit by this laser. And it turned into Deoxys, but my guess would be that it also created Pokerus. Maybe the Pokerus was created and then Deoxys was created from the Pokerus. But Pokerus lands on the planet and, it
infects the Pokemon.
Yeah, or maybe it makes Pokemon. Maybe Mew and all this stuff came from space in the first place in the form of a bacteria, just like, life happened on Earth in our world. But what else came from space? What is a big, shiny rock that came from space?
Ooh, pick me!
Yes, Calosian boy?
This thing that came from space happens to be the Anistar Sundial in
Exactly.
Anistar City.
What is so special about the Anistar Sundial?
When the sun hits it, it resonates with the Mega Stones, and yay! You can see them!
Yes, the Anistar Sundial has something to do with Megastones. Rayquaza Mega Evolves from, the wishes of people, but also from space rocks. All these Megastones are sprinkled throughout the entire world. So are asteroids sprinkled throughout the world. So maybe this giant space rock got hit by this legendary laser a long time ago and turned into the Anistar Sundial. Then it crashed into the world. What we keep seeing repeated over and over again is mutation, lasers, and space. What is a Pokemon from the Kalos region that has to do with mutation?
Ooh, I even have a Pokedex entry to read, too.
Go for it.
The Pokemon in question happens to be Diancie, and its Pokemon X and Omega Ruby description clearly states that it is a sudden transformation of Carbink. Its pink glimmering body is said to be the loveliest sight in the whole world, while its Y and Alpha Sapphire Pokedex description clearly states that it can instantly create many diamonds.
Andrew, you're making a lot of noise. Can you just...
Sorry.
Anyway.
Keep going.
Get close to the mic.
It's
this
Y
better?
and...
I was talking to Cutler.
There we
Sorry.
go. Its Y and Alpha Sapphire description state that it can instantly create many diamonds by compressing the carbon in the air using its hands. Now, if you're going where I think you're going with this, I'm going to enjoy this.
So, Carbink, sudden transformation. Shiny, pink, crystals, space, Anistar Sundial. Anistar Sundial crashes down, and it's going to cause a lot of ruckus because it's a fucking meteor landing. But after all the dust settles and Zygarde comes out to fix everything, probably, what's left is this big shiny rock. The sun gleams through it, and there's a... Oh, shit. I'm gonna add Laura to the call.
Ooh, yay!
I'm just gonna end this. Oh god, we'll have to repeat this small segment. Oh god, we'll have to catch her up on everything.
Oh boy.
We'll do it slowly.
Yeah.
Hey, Laura.
Hey, what's up?
So you just got us talking about the Anistar Sundial and Diancie. So, the Anistar Sundial comes from space, is hit by a similar laser to what causes Deoxys to form. It lands down, it crashes, it causes a big apocalypse or something. Watch the sniffling.
Sorry. I've been dealing with a cold.
So,
Who are these? I don't.
Swift, Cutler is Swift from the chat room, and
Okay.
Andrew is Swift's friend, the crocodile.
Okay. Nice to meet you. Well, hear your voices.
Yes, it's nice to meet you too.
Chatted with one of you before.
You are far away
Yes.
from the mic, Laura.
Oh, I am?
Yeah,
How about now?
you're good. Okay, so Astar Sundial comes from space, and after the dust settles and Zygarde fixes everything by restoring the natural order of the environment, by using its primeval power form and by seeing through the earth and all of that stuff that we talked about, 1,000 arrows, 1,000 waves. Yeah, you might want to look up some stuff as we talk about Laura. You're half an hour behind on the plot. But basically, Diancie is a carbink or a lot of carbink that go to the Astar Sundial because, hey, it's a big rock. We like rocks. We're rocks. I don't know. So carbink goes up to the sundial, looks at it for a while, tilts its head, then the sun comes gleaming through it, powers up into a laser, and then shoots the carbink in the face. And then the carbink wakes up and it's a Diancie. It's mutated. Space, rocks, and lasers make mutations. That is what we know about Pokemon. Carbink mutated, sudden transformation, into Diancie and gained the power of the Astar Sundial. That's why it's pink. Astar Sundial has a lot to do with Megastones, probably because all Megastones maybe came from the Astar Sundial and the radiation and the mutation from the laser. Maybe the Astar Sundial was already on Earth and it shot meteorites into Megastones. But Megastones came from space or something because they're littered all throughout the place just like meteorites. And Diancie creates rocks. It creates diamonds from carbon in the air. What's so special about creating rocks? Well, because the thing that created Diancie creates Megastones. It shoots lasers at Pokemon and dirt, and it makes Mega stuff. That's why Diancie has a Megastone, because I don't like to reference movies, but as Cutler has said in the pre-show, Diancie makes its own Megastone in the movie. Diancie can make its own Megastone, so it can make Megastones, so that Astar Sundial can make Megastones. Megastones come from space. Diancie is the Mega Queen, the Lord of all Mega Evolutions, because it has inherited the space powers.
All right. I'm with you, but there's one more thing that you got to take into account.
What?
You need to connect it to, like, the Great War in X and Y or something.
We tried to, but the footage of the Great Weapon does not make contact with the laser.
No, he's right. We watched the cutscene from the game, and
That
the
is
laser.
not the weapon that hits it. It must have happened way earlier in the past.
Yeah, because AZ's weapon does not come in contact with Deoxys's meteorite.
Plus, Deoxys's meteorite exists way before in terms of the triangle in the sky of the cave paintings, which are super ancient.
Yeah,
What must have happened is that in a later generation, we'll find a laser Pokemon. And I'm
would
not
assume
kidding.
so.
We'll find a laser Pokemon.
That
Probably
would
in
be.
Egypt, where the next, Laura, the next Generation 7 is taking place in Africa.
How do you know?
Look up the strange souvenir.
Actually, would you like me to pull up the strange souvenir and read the description
Oh,
again?
wait, that's actually a good theory. I've seen the strange souvenir. I know what you're talking about.
I didn't know that existed until today.
You didn't?
I didn't know about a lot of stuff, okay? I didn't know you
That's
could catch
over a year.
Olivia in Oras and stuff like
Okay.
that.
Yeah, I had to explain a bunch of stuff about the Oros games to him, so.
I had to do a blind run. I couldn't look at stuff.
Well, your blind run has been over for like 6 months now. Get on our level.
Anyway, so, here's the other thing. There's one thing left about Diancie. I think that there is some kind of secret Diancie holds, because Diancie hasn't made all Megastones, I don't think. It doesn't go around gifting the world Megastones. I think that it doesn't make Megastones. It came from the thing that made Megastones. And it might be able to make its own Megastone, but, I don't think it goes across the world littering Megastones everywhere. The light from the sundial and the source that the sundial has and everything makes Megastones. But Diancie has to play a part in all these. We have Hoopa, who is a fucking god. Like an Egyptian god.
Like more powerful than Arceus level god.
Yes. And it acts on its own whims. It has a personality. It has no responsibilities. It is the worst possible thing to ever happen to the Pokemon universe. It can destroy everything.
So I
And-
guess I gotta watch the movies because I haven't been watching since Gen 5.
Well, this is all about the movie that's coming out. That's going to announce Gen 7.
Has that been announced yet?
You know the green little... okay, there's an image in the chat. I'll send it to you again.
I'm keeping an eye on stuff, but so far it's been pretty.
Green little blorp in the picture at the bottom of the screen, that's an artist rendition of the Pokemon that shows up at the very end of the movie in Japan.
Always
is-
Japan. 'Cause
And-
Japan gets everything.
And the strange souvenir is supposed to be of a Pokemon. So the strange souvenir and what it's based off of and this green little blorp are the first Generation 7 Pokemon ever to be seen by our eyes.
Whoa, what is that blorp? Hold up.
Yeah, look up Generation 7 new green Pokemon. Anyway, while she does that, let's talk
Why
about...
isn't this like over Amino and Twitter and
It is. You just haven't seen it. Also, you should probably look up Zygarde's new form.
we got a new form?
Yeah. it's
Also,
the
what I
Colossal
think
Super
what we
Titan.
really need also is we need to get more about I cannot pronounce its name. Volcarona?
Oh, Volcanion.
Yeah, sorry, I'm getting
Volcarona is not, no.
Volcarona's that big flying bug.
Volcanion, all we know that it's probably going to disrupt the disrupt the environment, which is going to make Zygarde kind of hate it. But nothing makes Zygarde more pissed than probably Hoopa. Because, yeah. And if Zygarde can fight Hoopa, then that means that Zygarde, like, so Laura, Rayquaza helps people. That's nice. But Rayquaza can only stop the Weather Trio. And maybe Deoxys. Rayquaza can't stop, like, if Dialga started fucking shit up, you know? Rayquaza is a protector of humans because humans give it that power and all that stuff. It has a domain that it takes care of, the ozone layer, all that. These god Pokemon that we're talking about, these Egyptian-level gods, they are special because they act of their own will. Andrew, so Hoopa can create all these Pokemon and all these portals at its own will with no drawback. Zygarde creates this superpower when it wants to, when it thinks that balance has been disrupted. It doesn't have anything limiting it. So Pokemon that powerful enter this different reign, you know, all that stuff. So I don't know about Volcanion. Volcanion, we don't know if it has another form or anything. All we know is that it's just there.
I see two forms though in this little thing you sent me.
Its arms disconnect. It's
Okay.
Yeah,
Now-
the ring on Volcanion's back actually splits into two steam blasters.
That is so cool. Now this green thing, I googled it. I can't find anything. There's nothing on Cerebi. There's nothing.
Go to
on...
Twitter and type in 7th generation or new Pokemon.
It could be a hoax.
No, it's not a hoax.
It isn't.
Yeah. Go to Twitter and type in new Pokemon.
I'm very
one
skeptical
word.
because I think it was what was it? It was Gen 5. These like these like starters went viral. No offense.
Yes,
they were
but
kind of-
fairy type ended
they
up
were
being a
hideous,
thing,
and it
remember?
made me cry. So
Fairy type
I'm
ended up
very
being a thing.
skeptical.
So let's keep going. Volcanion, we don't know. We don't know. All we know that it's probably gonna, make Zygarde a bit angry or something. We have no idea what it's capable of. Like what's its Pokedex entry even?
Actually, Volcanion's Pokedex descriptions are out, and I can find them.
And other than that, there's one more thing we haven't talked about on this screen, and that is the fan theory. This is the only fan theory that we're gonna actually use for a legitimate consideration here. In the Pokemon League in Kalos, there's a certain statue that you see a lot. It is this big, tall, crystally, ribbony Pokemon statue. It looks like nothing we've ever seen. And it's it's right before Diantha, who's a fairy-type trainer, who has a similar design to Diancie, who has a similar name, who's also fairy-type, legendary. A lot of people are thinking that this is some kind of super powerful version of Diancie. When you look at that picture, look at, it kind of reminds me of that big, epic, universal, omniscient, omnipotent feeling that Hoopa Unbound gives off, that this Super Zygarde version gives off. That looks like an Egyptian god level thing. That looks like a big constellation, super powerful better than Arceus God? What if Diancie isn't the legendary of Mega Stones, but it's just that the sundial was this preserved form of this giant space goddess. And when it crashed down on Earth, it saw a Carbink and was like, "You will be my host," and then transferred its life essence into the Carbink and lived inside of it, turning it into Diancie to protect itself, to protect this deity, and that this deity is living inside of Diancie, and that
makes sense.
at one point in the future, this giant, super crazy goddess of Mega Evolution is gonna come out, and it's gonna be like, all Mega Pokemon belong to me and obey my command, and I'm gonna go fight Hoopa, unbound. Like, I don't know. This is the realm of Titans, of big, terrifying Pokemon, of Regigigas, of Zygarde Titan, of Hoopa Unbound, of this Diancie goddess. No, the only Pokemon we've seen to have this much raw power is Regigigas, who could pull continents. Probably couldn't, but still. Regigigas is the only Pokemon ever known, other than Hoopa, other than like Hoopa and some low-lying Pokemon like Spiritomb, who have been sealed away by people's efforts. Hoopa had to be sealed away, and we assume that he was sealed away in the bottle outside on Delatown, because there is no other purpose for that underwater temple. Cutler, if you could get up close to the mic and talk about the Sunken King.
Ooh, yes, I like this. On the walls in the underwater temple in Undella Bay, there is a...
Everyone right up on the mic.
Yeah, those are translated to be about a powerful king and honestly how powerful he was. The only thing that sunken temple would be able to be used for is to house the prison bottle. It's the only thing that in my mind makes sense.
The only other time that we've heard about a really scary, powerful Pokemon being sealed away is Kyurem, kind of, technically, who came from space. Regigigas, who was made by humans, who we needed to seal away. And there was like, it was too powerful for us, yada yada. And keep in mind, Regigigas and his pieces were sealed away in 3 different regions. Or 2 different
3?
Regions.
Yeah,
2.
Regions.
But like, Regigigas was so important that they had to seal it in a whole different, like, hundreds of miles away from all of its pieces. Like, Regigigas is no typical legendary. It had to be sealed away. Hoopa is no typical legendary. It had to be sealed away. Zygarde is no typical legendary. It seals itself away. You know? People could say, Giratina is similar to this, but Giratina...
No, Giratina was banished into the distortion world for crimes that it committed.
Giratina kind of fits in.
Okay.
It kind of fits in with the form and everything. But really, what is Giratina's power? To control antimatter? It's never shown doing anything ridiculously powerful. The only reason that Cyrus needed Zygarde was to play a role in creating a new universe. Giratina. The only reason Cyrus needed Giratina was for it to play a role in creating a new universe, not to create a universe on its own. Giratina, doesn't have much power, really.
No, it doesn't.
Just like Dialga and Palkia don't have much power, really, because they can only fuck with time and space when they need to, when they're ordered to by Arceus.
Yeah.
Regigigas, Zygarde, Hoopa, this Super Diancie, they have this serious, crazy power, and they all either seal themselves away or were sealed away. Regigigas was sealed away by people. Hoopa was sealed away by people.
Zygarde sealed itself away.
And Diancie, Super Diancie, was sealed away by a meteor and crashed into a planet and then sealed itself inside of a Pokemon. All these Pokemon aren't like Pokemon that we've ever seen. They're more like a third species. They're gods. They're not Pokemon.
Here's something that you might find interesting. I'm not sure if this is true, but there's a few theories floating around that Gen 7 blob is somehow related to Zygarde.
Yeah, but
Zygarde?
we've debunked that
We've debunked that.
because it
Yeah.
happened. How it shows up is, according to eyewitnesses, at the very end of the movie, after the credit roll, when the Pokemon sign pops up, when the Pokemon sign pops up, this little blorp squeezes out of it, out of the O in Pokemon, and is like, "Hi, fuck you," and leaves. There's a drawing going around of that scene, but that drawing is fake. But this Pokemon shows up at the very end of the movie, and therefore cannot be related to Zygarde.
It's a baby Zygarde.
No, because it can't be related to Zygarde because Zygarde's plot happens during the movie. Unless this is part one of a two-part series, which I think
Didn't
would
they
spread
do like a
faster.
trilogy? I know that it's been so long since I watched them. The Darkrai movie was like part of a trilogy, so they could be gearing up for something like that. They could do
What
like
they're gearing up for is Gen 7.
they could do like a Dianthe, Hoopa, and Volcano thing.
Here's the thing.
I can't say its name.
Volcanion.
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 It's just that I don't know what they're going to do for Gen 6.5. It might be the age of Hoopa coming down, fucking everything up, and then Zygarde has to deal with it. But honestly, Lysander Lysander wouldn't even be the villain anymore. It would just be Hoopa. And Hoopa would be such a disaster that, like, everything would show up. It would be it would be the Clash of the Titans.
Yep.
Hence the title of
Or, my theory is that Lysander would want to use Hoopa, but it'd be a classic story of where he realizes that the power he wanted was too great.
Or you want to know something? I don't think Hoopa Unbound is going to be the pivotal role. I think just like any other thing, it's going to be the third legendary who is used. In fourth generation, Cyrus needed Giratina and all the others to do his plan. In Generation 3, Rayquaza comes down and tells everyone to calm the fuck down. In Generation 5, he makes one Pokemon out of the other, using the third.
Yes.
What I think is going to happen is that Lysander gets both legendaries, as you usually do in the third game, and makes them fight to make Zygarde come out and clean the world flat. I think that Lysander's plan in Generation 6.5 will be to bring Zygarde's super form out to clean the slate. And that, or maybe like he wants to use the super weapon to bring out not only the super weapon's destruction, but he wants to make a deal with Zygarde to make the world the way he wants to or something.
That's brilliant.
Back to the whole...
Lysander's really suicidal, guys.
Yes, he is. Back to the whole underwater temple with Hoopa thing.
Yes.
Hoopa has 4 different Pokedex descriptions. And the Pokedex description for Hoopa in Omega Ruby says, in its true form, it possesses a huge amount of power. Legends of its avarice tell how it once carried off an entire castle to gain the treasure hidden within.
What the fuck?
That very
off
easily...
an entire castle into the ocean. The
just
treasure
to get
within was the bottle.
Well,
The
I'm
only
not
thing that
100%
could
sure
stop it.
because Hoopa, according to this, Hoopa's true form is Hoopa Unbound.
Yes.
Yeah, in order to get to the prison bottle so that it cannot be sealed away, it went ahead and stole the entire underwater temple / castle
stole the
thing.
entire overwater castle and put it underwater.
Yeah, exactly. So that
it
the
can
prison
create a
bottle...
portal and go like, you know how like when you take like a hula hoop with like a net attached to it, you put it over a box and when you lift up the box is gone. Here's the castle. Put a hoop over it. Now it's underwater.
Yeah. But
Imagine,
that only makes the theory...
a 40-foot-tall giant Hoopa Unbound waving its arm, and then a castle disappears. This is not a Pokemon. This is a disaster.
Yeah. Something else. Its X and Y descriptions are, it gathers things it likes and pushes them through its hoop to teleport them to a secret place. Its Y description is, this troublemaker sends anything and everything into faraway places using its loop, which can warp space. which makes more sense because of the fact of Hoopa having a godlike ability to pull anything it wants from wherever it wants.
It has this personality. It has a place in the blind eternities of the multiverse where it keeps shit.
Yeah.
No responsible legendary is going to do this. This isn't just a legendary. This is a problem.
This is a
isn't
demon.
This isn't just a Pokemon, guys.
No,
Hoopa
this
Unbound
is
is more than a human and more than a Pokemon.
It's a monster.
Exactly. It is a
And
Titan.
the fact that it has to have 4 different descriptors makes sense because Hoopa Unbound's form was not revealed to be in the games until Oros's release.
Exactly.
So they were like, okay, yeah, Hoopa's just this kind of cute thing that takes things at once. Now that we know, holy shit, this thing is a
so
monster.
terrifying.
Its origins are now slowly beginning to become clear.
Yes, the only thing that could stop it is Zygarde or Regigigas or it's something big. Something big that can go, no. Something so big that it can't fit a hoop around it, essentially.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, I'll be right back.
No problem. Be sure to mute your mic when you leave.
He's probably already gone. But yeah, Hoopa Unbound is... Whoa, yes, that's right. Okay, Hoopa Unbound's typing. Let's look at...
Go.
Okay, like going back to all Hoopa loveliness, we have to look at Hoopa's type as well. Hoopa's typing, when it's in its little tiny adorable imp form, is Psychic Ghost. But they take the extra mile when he's unbound, making him a Psychic Dark. What would be the point of making him a Dark type if he was not supposed to be some sinister, all-powerful god thing?
It's like Xenagos, God of Revels. It's an asshole and a big problem.
Yeah, and
the fact that it's a ghost makes sense in terms of it being, its real self is in the bottle. This is merely its hand reaching out in the world.
Yeah,
it's
pretty
an
much.
Extension of its body that's sealed away.
It's like with your whole Arceus thing about there being one big one and all of the Arceuses are... Yeah, okay. I see now.
Hold up. This could be a theme with every one of these Titans. What if there are 50,000 Zygardes and they're just all extensions of of the Earth itself?
Oh yeah,
there's Zygarde is just a hand.
There's only one Titan.
Is just a hand.
Okay, there's one Titan that doesn't quite make sense about. Regigigas itself, because Regigigas is...
Yeah, it has the Regis.
Yes, I know it has the Regis, but the Regis are the keys to unlock him. He is essentially this
the
ancient...
did make the Regis.
Yeah, he is essentially this almighty being that was like, oh, I'm godly, but he was sealed away by by humans who created the 3 Regis, who created them as keys to keep him under.
The prison bottle is probably some kind of has similar technology to the link cable.
All right, I'm back.
Hey, we're talking about humans sealing away things and how there could be 1,000 Zygardes as hands and 1,000 Hoopas as hands and 1,000 Diancies as hands and all sorts of stupid stuff.
Okay.
Because there is no actual information that could state that there are more than one Zygarde, more than one Hoopa, more than one Regigigas. There is no information that states that that is either correct or false. Yeah. So they're essentially saying...
Think when you want.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's look at what we have left on the list. We talked about the 1,000 waves and the 1,000 arrows. Okay. I had an idea that Zygarde's cave... What's it called again?
Terminus Cave.
Terminus Cave.
That Terminus Cave, like many other things... You know how there's that lake in Unova that links directly to Sinnoh?
Sort of.
Which lake was that again?
And then there's the Shinto Ruins, which links Johto and Sinnoh.
I know which lake he's talking about.
What if Zygarde's cave could link to Gen 7 directly?
I like that. And I know exactly which lake you're talking about, and it completely makes sense.
Yep.
Which lake is it?
What if they're hyperdimensional tunnels?
Yeah. Andrew, the lake he's talking about is after you beat the Elite Four, you go and talk to Professor Juniper, and you surf across to this cave that has
Right
the
next to the beginning of the game.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just
that
right
one.
there.
The ones where you find
lake
Uxias of a
trio.
Mesprit.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah,
that
that-
lake.
Yeah. Something
And
else
we
that
never see how that connects to the other places. And there's lake trio tunnels everywhere. And there's like, how did they get Regigigas to Sinnoh? What if there are these caves that have hyperdimensional portals in them? Hyperspace comet punch thing. Like, what if these Hoopa portal things are all over the place and legendaries use them to transfer places and humans transferred Regigigas through one?
Okay.
Like maybe somebody was using Hoopa's powers, but then Hoopa became self-aware or something?
I don't know, man.
That could be. Pat, I just legitimately thought of something. You know how I mentioned that
All right, speak
Regigigas
up
could
and
very
say it.
easily be this big,
I'll tell
huge,
you, yeah.
monstrous,
A
ancient
problem.
thing? What?
A problem.
Yeah, so what's the problem?
The problem is why we're calling these not above Pokemon.
You guys are breaking up a little in my end, but I can still hear you. Is it only me, or is it just you guys?
I don't know.
It's me too. I'm hearing
Okay.
someone breaking up.
Hello.
I'm not hearing anybody. I'm not hearing anyone break up, so it's...
Okay, it's good now.
All right, keep going.
Yeah, same here.
Okay, so you know how I mentioned before Regigigas could have been the original Regigigas and human race sealed him away using the legendary golems.
Yeah.
Yes.
But let's not forget that in order to get access to the legendary golems, you have to have a Wailord and a Relicanth. And you have to go through this maze of current in order to get to one specific spot in the water just
And that's
left
the
of...
tunnel that leads it to the Snow Point Temple.
Thank you! There you go! Now you get my point. Because that portal would end up, that location would be the location that leads to the Snow Point Temple. And because of that, that location is the keyhole that unlocks the keys to unlock the key.
Oh my god! Okay, so I had this theory that, okay, you know how Zinnia looks a lot like AZ, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
I had this theory that the
That's enough.
race that AZ was from is similar to the race of the the Draconids, who are similar to the race of the Cetopolitans. These super ancient races of people, the ones that sealed all these Pokemon away. I always wondered, how could AZ all the way over in Kalos be related to Zinnia all the way over in Hoenn? The hyperspace tunnels. These super ancient beings knew them like the back of their hand.
And let's not forget that according to the Pokemon Y Pokedex description for Hoopa, it states that its loop is able to warp space. Therefore, its ring could technically lead you anywhere.
Guys! Oh my god! You know how Regigigas used to help everyone?
Yeah.
You know how Zygarde can also help everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah?
You know how all of them can help people? Dude,
Yeah.
you know why the tunnels don't work anymore?
Why?
Hoopa was our friend we used to transfer from place to place. Hoopa,
But
we used Hoopa to cross the oceans before we had ships. Hoopa was very close to every human on Earth. They all needed Hoopa for communication and trade, and when Hoopa went away or when we pissed Hoopa off, all the regions were separated from each other. Thousands of years of communication lost. Sutopolis City, all the people that used to go in and out of it through the Cave of Origin, now we're stuck on this island forever to evolve into their own race as Cetopolitans. The Draconids were stuck on the mountainous crags and no longer talk with the Colosians. No wonder every region went fucking insane a few thousand years ago. They all lost their god. Their god of transportation and communication, Hoopa.
Yeah.
Or they sealed him away because he started to be an asshole. Either way, I think Hoopa used to help us. Or we enslaved it with the bottle. Just like how we enslaved Regigigas with the golems.
It's like a robot becoming self-aware.
Or just a self-aware person becoming a robot becoming self-aware.
Pretty much.
It's ooh, Pat, we were talking about this earlier. It's like all of my characters who are in my head. I'm able to essentially shut down my conscious mind and transfer one of my characters to my conscious mind.
Put him in the pilot seat.
Exactly. It's like that. My characters are all self-aware, and I can project them all however I see
Yeah,
fit.
and if one of them got pissed off, then they could clearly cause some damage. I think Hoopa, like, these hyperspace tunnels, nobody else has discovered these. Like, they've been thrown in our face, but we've always thought of them as just a cheap cop-out. But the Shinto ruins, Sutopolis City, the other underwater places of Hoenn, all of
Like the seafloor cavern.
like, oh my god! What if Hoenn used to be bigger before Kyogre, and they weren't underwater?
Well, both
Yeah.
Groudon and Kyogre
But like,
were created at the same time.
Well, I'm just saying, like, what if at one point in history, Hoenn looked different, and all the places that were underwater were above water, and then the water rose? What if there was a 1,000-point period during, like, an ice age or something where all the waters were drained up and people built these things underground, and then the water came down, flushed them underneath? Like, maybe it wasn't. I don't know.
You talking about the hyperspace tunnels?
Yeah, like the ones in Hoenn. They could be underwater because of things.
I'm looking at the descriptions for Hyperspace Hole and Hyperspace Fury.
Nice.
Now, the move description for Hoopa Confine's Hyperspace Hole is using a Hyperspace Hole, the user appears right next to the target and strikes. It also hits a target using Protect or Detect, while at the same time, where the hell are you? There we go. Hyperspace Fury states that using its many arms, the user unleashes a barrage of attacks that ignore the effects of moves like Protect and Detect. This attack lowers the user's defense. What if, while Hoopa Unbound was helping us and whatnot, its attack was Hyperspace Hole, but when we pissed it off, it changed its move to Hyperspace Fury.
It became dark because it became angry. Oh,
and then
Gen 6 has evidence of dark corrupting Pokemon. Look at Pancham and Pangoro.
Exactly. But then when we sealed away Hoopa Unbound in the prison bottle, because it was no longer dark, its move went back to being Hyperspace Hole. Let's see, because both of my Hoopas have Hyperspace Fury. That's only because it doesn't change back when it changes form.
And it can't use it when it's not in Unbound.
Exactly.
So instead of being able to open a ton of holes everywhere from one position, it had to go to each individual place to open up one hole at a time.
Exactly.
So humans would probably fight over Hoopa, fight over the hyperspace. They want to find the bottle and either restore order to the underground tunnels, or to use the tunnels for their own advantage and lead armies through them. And whoever controlled Hoopa controlled the world, because they could go anywhere they wanted to.
Like in an absolute instant.
Yeah.
And if you look at the stat changes between Hoopa Unbound and Hoopa Confined, when Hoopa Confined is as it is a special attacker. But when you unbind it, it becomes a physical attacker.
Because it has its arms back.
Because it has its arms back. And therefore it is able to exact its fury, hence the name of the move, on essentially those who sealed him away.
I wonder why it's angry now. What could happen in Gen 6.5 to disrupt it? Is it is it going to be some Xerosic stuff?
Maybe.
That's another theory that people think. Because when the cannon exploded, a lot of people think that Lysander died in that instant.
Unless he was saved by his buddy Hoopa.
Unless he was saved by Hoopa. Now, people think that if they do come out with a Gen 6.5 game, it's not going to be Lysander at the helm, it's going to be Xerosic at the helm.
But he was arrested.
Yes, but let's look at this again. All of the sages were arrested by Looker. Yet,
yeah, he's a pretty shitty guy.
In Black and White 2, the sages are not imprisoned, and one of them is even using the remains of Team Plasma to do good.
So he thinks of them too well. All of them got out of good behavior, yet one of them was faking it.
Zinzolan.
And Xerosic has really, really good behavior. So he might get out really early.
Exactly. And then he may be like, okay, I'm out now. I can stop pretending to be a good guy and start wrecking shit.
I had it. Basically, like, that's what it is. Dude, okay. So, what if Generation 6.5 takes place in a universe of Kalos where things are just slightly different? Because Hoopa, in a different universe, got unbound, went into another universe, and moved stuff around. What if it was like a time travel thing where like something slightly has changed and now everything's fucked up? So Lysander, when he was supposed to die, is now teleported away and saved. You know, Xerosic, when he was about to get captured, is now teleported away and saved. You know, like the protagonists, when they're about to fight the legendaries, they actually get teleported away and the legendaries get to fly free. Like, Hoopa could ruin everything.
Wait,
That is true.
let's backtrack a minute. Did you just suggest that Gen 7 could take place in Kalos again?
No,
No.
this is Gen 6.5.
Okay. I'm not sure if they'll actually. Well, do you think they'll do a Gen 6.5? I mean, they didn't do a Gen. Well, I guess they kind of did do a Gen 5.
Gen 5.5 was definitely.
They did a Gen 5.5, and essentially they did a Gen 2.5, and they did a Gen 3.5?
Yeah, they
Well,
did.
actually,
And
it's
a
more like a Gen
4.5.
2.7 because it takes place before Emerald.
Gen 6.5 could theoretically
Actually,
take
no.
place.
This is perfect. So, Ruby and Sapphire were Gen 3 games. Emerald was a Generation 3.1 game because it took place a few weeks afterwards. Because they had built up the entire Battle Frontier and some gym leaders moved around.
But okay, I like where you're going with this, but here's where this here's where this makes sense. You say that Emerald takes place a few weeks after Ruby and Sapphire. This is where Hoopa's rings come in, because it warps space and is in turn is warping Dialga's control over time, because things are moving around and things are changing,
And taking
which
longer.
means
people are taking longer to make the things because there are more things available to them.
exactly.
Yeah. Hoopa changes a few things in the past, and now not just one team is able to get the legendary, 2 teams are able to get the legendary. In this one, no, Lysander doesn't launch just when he has access information on 1 legendary. He launches when he has information on 2 legendaries. In this universe, instead of Cyrus going out when he has access to 1 legendary, he goes out when he knows about all 3 legendaries. It's slight changes in the past that make things take longer and thus are more dangerous.
Exactly. Hoopa is essentially every generation in one tiny little imp thing.
Oh god. And like, we don't know if every universe has its own Hoopa.
Exactly. There could easily just be one Hoopa, and it's using its rings to jump from dimension to dimension.
And if it gets sealed in 1 dimension, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, and considering the fact that...
Oh my god, if he helps out people in all dimensions cross through the underground tunnels, and then one asshole in 1 dimension, like, oh my god. The tunnels didn't just lead to different regions. They led to different universes, because the Draconids knew about the other universes. Zinnia knew about the other universes.
I've been waiting for you to say
Oh my god! This is ridiculous.
I've been waiting you to figure that out this entire time.
So one asshole in 1 universe seals away Hoopa, and then the entire system of every universe is deteriorating, and only a few people know about the other universes and the tunnels and the other.
Guys,
Yeah.
I'm really sorry, but I gotta go.
No problem.
I'm extremely tired, and I gotta work really early in the morning.
I
No
hope
problem,
you feel
man.
better.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I feel better, bro.
I'm gonna pause the
Thanks.
recording. I know, man. Underground tunnels were used to enter different dimensions. That's why people knew about the other dimensions. That's how the people of Sinnoh knew that the other that the reverse world was a thing. Some people probably used the reverse. Hyperspace tunnels lead through the reverse world.
Oh my god!
Ugh.
If you were here, I'd give you a high five or a hug, but you're not, so I won't. Oh my god!
Jeez. Okay, let me just take a second. Let's just
It
look at
is
other
just
stuff
like
we have.
so entertaining / adorable listening to you guys nerd
Okay,
out.
what
I don't
haven't we
have
talked
time
about?
to get a word in edgewise.
What
I don't
haven't
know
we
what to add.
We haven't talked about Volcanion.
What's there to talk about? Look at the event. The event just talks about
first of all,
Volcanion as being like underground or something.
Actually, I have his Pokédex.
The catacombs
descriptions
are
here.
the catacombs are Kalos's tunnels. Hyperspace tunnels. The catacombs.
Yes. Would you like me to read not Zygarde? Would you like me to
Volcanion.
read Volcanion's Pokédex
Yes.
descriptions? Okay.
But also it's things from the event if you take it into the news station.
Yeah. I haven't paid attention to that. But its X and Alpha Sapphire descriptions say that it expels its internal steam from the arms on its back. Those are arms. Okay, I'll believe it. It has enough power to blow away a mountain. Yes, that's
what we needed.
That's what we need. But its Y and Omega Ruby ones say it lets out billows of steam and disappears into the dense fog. It's said to live in mountains where humans do not tread. What's the atmosphere like when they showed us the giant Zygarde Titan?
It's very misty.
Exactly. This one
so
says
Volcanion is powerful enough to warrant Zygarde's righteous fury.
Exactly. Zygarde is essentially like, oh shit, this guy just blew up a mountain, better go get him. Big, huge, burly dude. Where the fuck did he go? Well, here's where the fuck he went. He made billows of steam and disappeared into the fog.
He's so tiny, though.
Yes, I know, but if you think about it, he's like, Zygarde is like, where the fuck did this thing go?
It's like checking under its feet, like, brah, I'm too big.
And Volcanion's just like,
oh my god, Hoopa could go up to Volcanion and be like, hey bro, can you cause a distraction for me? I want to fuck shit up.
Essentially, that's exactly what could have happened. Oh my god, all three of them are connected.
Look at Volcanion's face. That fucker is cocky. He knows that because he can disappear into steam, he can taunt the one thing that Hoopa is terrified of.
Yeah, he's essentially like, Hoopa, by the way, I know you're scared of this big, huge green dragon thing, but here's what he doesn't realize. He can't do shit to me.
He just Vaporeons out of there.
Pretty much, because he can just be like, okay, Hoopa, you want to wreck shit up? I'll go blow up that mountain over there.
And draw the big guy's attention.
Exactly, and then I'll use my steam to get away while you go fuck shit up over there.
Okay, get the news thing. The event. It's probably in the trivia or something. Just look up Volcania event.
Volcanion event. Volcanion.
Okay.
Event. Boom. Okay.
By the way, you think this is gonna be on 3DS or new 3DS? The Gen 7.
Better be on 3DS. I don't want to buy.
It better be on 3DS because I really don't want to have to go through.
Yeah, I don't know.
Ooh, apparently, okay.
I
want to do that right now.
So. Oh, we have yet to talk about the Kyurem meteor.
Yes, we have yet to talk about that. Half of me thinks that
the other Titan is Kyurem.
Yes.
Kyurem is another Titan because he eats people. And he just like all the other Titans was sealed away by humans because the differentiating ideals split Kyurem into two different dragons.
Hmm.
And he was still alive after that.
Apparently there is no item connecting to Volcanion yet.
No, you just bring him to the news network.
Yeah.
And then they're like, hey, here's a book about Volcanion. It has like 2 pages. That's why we were so pissed off about it.
Yeah. But no, the whole Kyurem thing, that pisses me off because it's like, boom, I just repelled a giant meteor and it's now sliding toward that region. Hey, let's split myself into 3 pieces.
Why do you think that a meteor was bounced?
Because the way it worked was apparently it's supposed to be able to create a giant aura that can protect everything.
Wait, what?
Zygarde.
Right. And that
The
aura.
story goes that Zygarde is able to create essentially a green aura-like field around everything, and
That's so
apparently the original trajectory of the original dragon was the Kalos region.
Where are you getting this from?
It was something that was posted up on Cerebi way a long time ago. I don't know where to find it now. But it's the stupidest thing.
Bounce a meteorite to a different region on, like, seven time zones away.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me.
The only way that would make sense is if it were a Hoopa ring.
Okay, you know how you said earlier Hoopa helps people? Here's a way to explain the whole Kyurem meteor bouncing away thing. Zygarde puts up the aura to protect everything underneath from all debris, while Hoopa puts up a ring, and the meteor goes through the ring and into Giant Chasm.
Oh my god, this is so sad. They used to be friends, protecting
Hold on.
humans together.
Hold on. And then, because Zygarde becomes slightly weakened due to using enough energy to protect everything from Kyurem, he splits himself into three beings, a flower and a tree, and goes ahead and hides away in Terminus Cave, where Hoopa himself has placed a ring so that Zygarde can monitor Yveltal and Xerneas. And of course, we all know how all that went.
How well that went.
How well did that go? Oh, I don't know. Let's see. Lysander was able to steal the cocoon and use it as a power source.
True.
So that's how well that went. But
the thing is that we have to talk about. Okay, so yeah, bouncing meteors, all that. There's one last thing that we haven't talked about that's very important and very secret. This whole podcast is about the things that have been the most secret ever. Two things left. The code for a brown and blue meteorite, along with the meteorite that Rayquaza eats.
Yes, I was waiting for
and this. Where did you find this flower and tree thing?
The flower and tree thing was essentially was a blurb that was posted on Cerebi forever ago. And it was just this big, huge discussion. And I think Tyranitar did a review on it as well, which is why half of me doesn't believe it, because half of the stuff he talks about is ridiculous.
In times like these, those are the kind of people we have to turn to.
Yeah, I know. But he talked about it as well, which were kind of neat.
What was it? It was just a flower and a tree are forms of Zygarde.
Yeah, he split into a flower and a tree, and apparently what the rumors were...
You said it was three.
He split into three forms. The original, the dragon that's hiding in Terminus Cave, Yveltal the flower, or cocoon, or whatever the hell it's supposed to be.
Oh, there's another
and
flower, though.
Xerneas the tree. The flower I think you're speaking of is Ace's Floette.
There's a really powerful flower there.
Yeah, but I don't know if you noticed the leaked images that were supposed to be for XZ and YZ, and it showed two forms of Zygarde that were mixed with Yveltal and Xerneas.
Yeah, but those were confirmed fake.
Yes, I know, but the theory about them is intriguing. You have to admit the theory about them is intriguing.
But why would Zygarde need to? He's a being of the earth. What would he have to care about with life and death?
Because what happens when someone dies?
They rot.
Okay, let's try this again. What do you people usually go to after a family member has passed away?
Religion.
Well, okay, they go through funerals and whatnot, but where is the body then put?
In the ground.
What does Zygarde represent?
I don't see why he would get upset about people burying a bunch of people after a bunch of people died.
I don't understand it either.
You were like, I just was hoping that you would confirm it.
I was ridiculously, that's exactly what I was hoping, but no, I was like, yeah.
Brown, blue, and green meteorites.
Okay.
Go.
In the item list for the stuff that they were releasing for Aura, so there are 3 meteorites in the item list, which consist of a green meteorite, a brown meteorite, and a blue meteorite. The green meteorite obviously is the one that Archie had in Mount Chimney, which is the one that Rayquaza eats in the Delta episode, right?
Yes, the one that allows him to Mega Evolve.
So,
which probably came from the similar source of the Diancie goddess.
Exactly. So, with that being said, what the hell are these other two? What
Sorry
the
about
fuck? I was gonna say, what the fuck was that?
Oh no, I was checking something on Showdown, like a battle randomly started.
Oh, okay.
Damn you,
But
Hoopa!
yeah, but no. What are these other two meteorites? A lot of people are speculating that they are supposed to be the megastones for Flygon and Milotic. The reason I like
Lazy.
this
They
is
better be.
the reason I like this is because Mega Flygon, and yes, Game Freak has confirmed this, Mega Flygon was supposed to be an X and Y, but they could not get his design right. So they did not put him
And
in.
there's a
I
ground
saw
dragon
that. I was so angry. I was like, "Come on, guys, no! You could have come up with something. I believe in you."
there. No,
the thing
because they
is-
already had a ground dragon.
which was Garchomp. So they could not.
I was gonna talk about Zygarde.
Oh, the Zygarde too. But then they said we're probably going to put Flygon in these new games. But they still did not have a design for him, so they did not put him in the game. The theory that I think these are is the fact that they put the Mega Stones for Flygon and Milotic coded into the game, but because they did not produce the designs and the stat totals for these new Mega Evolutions, they recoded them as the brown and blue meteorites that you see in game. Now, where we're supposed to find these meteorites, I have no idea. But it's a very good speculation that these are supposed to be, as you said, megastones come from space. These very easily could be the megastones for
Yeah.
Mega Flygon and Mega Milotic.
Because, Kalos gets its megastones from the sundial, and if the sundial doesn't reach to every region, then, they must have come from the meteor showers over Hoenn.
Exactly.
But like, what's brown and blue? Because it's not Kyogre and Groudon.
Nope.
'Cause,
If you look at Flygon,
I could see the meteorites being the sources of where the red and blue orbs came from, if they came from space, if they weren't created by human means. But do we know how the red and blue orbs were created?
the red and blue orbs were supposed to be created when Mega Rayquaza put Groudon and Kyogre to sleep. When he did that, the extra energy was supposed to have dispersed into a solid object.
Okay, so
Excuse
that
me?
yes.
I have to get going, but I think that you guys have this covered. I
Yeah.
look forward to watching this when you get it up.
All right, see.
Okay, rant time. Okay, with the whole red and blue orbs, yes, that does make sense.
But what else could they fit to? What's
What
a
else?
brown and blue Titan like important thing?
What else is a brown and blue Titan?
I mean, brown could be Regigigas, but what would blue be? Kyurem? I don't know.
No. What types are Volcanion?
Red and blue.
He's water and fire.
He can't be related to space, though. He has nothing to do with space.
He has nothing to do with space.
He's just like
you're
Heatran.
right.
He's just a random asshole.
Yeah, but Heatran was a very
hold on.
useful random
Heatran
asshole.
was able to erupt any volcano anywhere on the Earth, right?
Yes, but here's the thing. If Heatran is able to erupt any volcano wherever he wants, whenever he wants, do you know how many Entei's that would make?
Shut up.
Because an Entei is born when a volcano erupts. If Heatran is able to erupt any volcano...
We don't know if those kind of Pokedexes are real or not. They
Yeah,
didn't
but
get
you
really
see
serious with them until later.
Yeah, but you see where I'm getting at, though.
Yeah, that would disrupt a lot of stuff. I think that we might have to put Heatran on our list of Titans.
We would have to, because
he's sealed away.
He is. He is sealed away by the Magma Stone, and the only way to activate his power is by bringing the Magma Stone to a certain location.
A volcano.
Exactly.
So, the only Titan we have that isn't sealed is Volcanion.
That we know of so far.
So I guess the meteorites could be his seal, but I don't know.
I don't want to believe that yet.
Yeah.
I don't want to believe that. Don't want to believe something like that until Game Freak straight up says, "Hey, you know this fan theory you guys came up with about these meteorites being involved with this freaking steam launcher? By the way, they are utterly ridiculous, or they are spot on." As soon as I see information like that, I'll start expanding my idea.
By the way, you haven't been hearing yourself in the echo, have you?
No.
Okay, good. Because I forgot that I didn't put on headphones this time.
Okay.
I
Okay.
actually thought I had more written about this stuff. Green Baby, Strange Souvenir, Gen 6, Gen 7, like Black, White 2. Zygarde, Super Zygarde, Zygarde's Pokedex. Zygarde's Cave links to Gen 7. Designs, themes, myths, Backpacker, Aura Break, Hoopa. Hoopa versus Zygarde. Thousand Arms and Arceus. Yeah, that's it, man.
That
Rebounding Meteors, Kyurem, Arceus must hate Hoopa. Oh yeah, we didn't talk about Arceus thinking that Hoopa's an asshole. No, we did in the very beginning. We did.
We did at the very beginning. Yeah, we did. We kind of went out of order, but that's slightly okay.
Arceus saw the hands. We didn't really talk about gods, and we skipped Africa. We talked about Egypt, but we didn't really talk all about it.
No, you're right. We didn't.
We didn't talk about Egyptian gods.
No, we
We didn't
didn't.
talk about pharaohs. So,
Yeah.
the idea is that all of Africa is comprised in one region in probably Egypt or the Sinai Peninsula, kind of like Unova with America.
Yes.
But
that is right.
we think that the legendaries of that world, because there's really not a lot left in terms of natural order. We really have that all covered. That's why Gen 5 had something that was totally arbitrary. We would just have insanely powerful sealed away legends in, like, just imagine the bad guy wants to go in a pyramid, revive a Lord of the Dead to bring back a super powerful pharaoh. That's some batshit level stuff.
That is some batshit level stuff.
That sounds like it could be a Pokemon thing.
It does, because let's see, who do we have to work with?
Mixing a scientist from the enemy team wants to go into a fucking pyramid, use the power of a god Pokemon of the dead to bring back a legendary emperor to take his stuff and use his stuff to take over the world by leading legions of the undead. Meanwhile, the other team wants to get the power of Ra, the god Pokemon of the sun, to stop them. But
and
also wants
who
to
would
smite everyone.
Who would be that ultimate evil god? The only god of the underworld that the Egyptians have. Do you know who that is?
You said it earlier.
I did. The god of the underworld, Osiris.
Just think of all the just think of how the Egyptian gods look. They're half animal, half humans.
They are.
Look at Hoopa. It's like a fucked up human.
It's like a fucked up human.
He's a demon thing. Like, these Pokemon, these legendaries, are not going to look like any other Pokemon ever. They're going to be gods.
They are going to be essentially the embodiment of everything we know. Like,
they're going to be smarter than us. They're going to be aware of other dimensions. They're going to be unstoppably powerful.
Because it doesn't matter what dimension you're in.
And they're all going to be sealed away inside pyramids and shit.
Yeah.
There's going to be a scene. Well, I mean, this probably wouldn't be a scene because it would be really offensive, even if it's done by bad guys. But just imagine a mech from an enemy team going up to the Sphinx, blowing it off, and releasing a legendary god Pokemon.
A legendary god Pokemon who has something to do with the Sphinx, has some.
We're getting into some offensive territory here, though.
Yes, you know what? If it comes to
Egyptian historians and religious people, like people who really care about all that stuff, and as they should, because it's fucking amazing. I don't know if they would take kindly to
us blowing up the Sphinx.
No, I was gonna say a Pokemon bastardization of Ra or any of the other gods. But then again, I doubt they got very mad at Dragon Ball Z, so I think Pokemon can get away with it too.
Let's look at this for a second. Yu-Gi-Oh! Managed to do it.
Yeah, and I know, like, Mega Evolution is ripping off Digimon. Legendary ancient Egyptian god Pokemon is ripping off Yu-Gi-Oh! You know, like, Pokemon won the battle. They can take all the remains of the other card games and eat them and use them to fuel itself.
Yeah, I think the only hard card game that they can't do that to is Magic. Why? Because Magic is old as fuck.
But think about it, though. Imagine, when you look at the picture, the Generation 6.5/7 Super discussion, look at Super Zygarde. Look at the Super Diancie. Look at Super Hoopa.
Yeah.
Imagine those in the constellations of Theros. They kind of could do the thing that Magic does with their gods. At least on Theros.
Yes, I see where you're going with that.
But it's just like, these super Pokemon have been around forever. They all have seals, and they all are very, very dangerous. They're different. Heatran and, not Lugia and Ho-Oh, but what are some others? I don't know, Mewtwo? I don't know.
Mewtwo is one of those weird ones, because Mewtwo was man-made.
But he was made from a potential held within Mew, and cloned using the powers of Ditto. By the way, guys,
Yes.
Ditto is not a byproduct. Ditto was used to help speed up the process. How
Yes,
do you think
exactly.
they cloned? They need a Pokemon that can clone.
Yeah. And the only thing that Ditto got out of all of that was the fact that its shiny color and its regular color are the same as Mew's, which is why people think it's a clone of Mew, and its stat totals are the same. That's
Yeah.
the only thing that ties them
But it's
together.
probably more so because blue looks good with pink,
It does.
and they both happen to be pink.
Yes, they both happen to be pink, and they both
But,
happen to be
like,
blue, and both of them work.
If Mewtwo is a Titan, even an artificial Titan, that would explain why he's more powerful than Mewtwo. I mean, than Arceus when he's Mega.
That would be because the
What if-
Mega Stone is essentially amplifying
so-
the power he already has.
A long time ago, like a year ago, in September last year, I made a podcast with a guy called the Mythologicast, where we talked about a theory that in the recent history of the Pokemon world, there were these disasters, just like like maybe 3,000 years, just like the super weapon and all this other stuff and all these things, that each person in each region had a hero had a hero who made a super powerful weapon. All the regions were at war with each other, and each region had its weapon, and then they used all these weapons to fight each other. And that this was like, we basically made a theory using legendaries to make the Pokemon War a thing. You know, we had like Hoopa. We had theories about Hoopa back then before even Hoopa Unbound was a thing.
Yeah.
But what I think is that what we made up back then was that what if the blueprints for Mewtwo existed in ancient times? So that someone got a Mew and was able to make Mewtwo from Mew in the past. And what if the reason why Giovanni and Blaine and everyone made Mewtwo was because when they found Mew, they also found Mewtwo as in like the code of making a Mewtwo from ancient times. What if the super weapon was an ancient thing that he found that was made before? What if Volcanion and Heatran, all these other Pokemon were used as weapons in the past? And that Mewtwo could possibly be a resurrection of something that happened long ago. And if Mewtwo originally was a Titan that was lost in the genetic modification of Mew, or like Mewtwo became Mew by devolving, and then that the hidden potential that was locked in Mew was resurfaced as this Titan that is Mewtwo. I don't know. But Mewtwo, the only problem is that Mewtwo doesn't have a seal, except for, I guess, Mew.
Yes, the only thing Mewtwo has that counts as a seal is the fact that he has to be unlocked using genetic coding.
Yes.
Which is essentially what his key would be.
Yeah.
Is the fact that you have to rip.
It just makes no fucking sense that he's in fucking Kalos. So annoying.
No, it does.
Oh, you're not saying that Kalos is having a Hoopa situation as Oras did, and the reason why there's legendaries all around Kalos too?
Not
Moltres, Articuno, and Zapdos are Hoopa rings?
Not quite. Close, but not quite. I don't know if you saw the Genesect movie.
No, I didn't.
Okay. The Genesect movie had an episode that came before it was released that showed the origins of the Mewtwo that appeared in it. And the Mewtwo had the capability of Mega Evolving by itself, without a stone or anything. And it crashed into a cave where it was taken care of. The only location that matches up with happens
is the place
to...
where you find it in The Pokemon town.
Pokemon Village, same
Pokemon
thing.
Village.
You see, that's kind of where that makes sense. But if it is
Wait,
a
where did
Titan,
it crash from?
where did it crash from? It was flying away from wherever it was created
In
from.
recent history.
And
So
yes,
it's flying from Johto.
Essentially.
Kanto.
Yes, essentially.
So...
And this one has been confirmed to be the Mewtwo from the manga, not the one that was created by Giovanni.
Okay, what if the anime got slightly wrong? What if he didn't crash? But what if Red caught Mewtwo, released Mewtwo, and Mewtwo went to look for its Mega Stone in the region where it first did it? Maybe Mewtwo went out to Kalos to find its Mega Stone in that cave, but then it realized that it needed a trainer to Mega Evolve with it, so it waited there for a trainer to come and help it Mega Evolve.
You see, the one in game, that makes sense.
Yeah, the one game is the one we care about.
The one in game is always the one we care about.
That finally makes sense. Mewtwo is in Kalos looking for a trainer.
Exactly, which is why when you catch/faint Mewtwo, you instantly get its Mega Stone. It's not lying on the ground because he found it.
He was holding it.
Because he was holding it, exactly.
He went to whatever region he found it in, then he looked from region to region trying to find a trainer to hold it.
Yeah, and then he just kind of stayed in the Pokemon Village, waiting for Kalimor Serena to show up.
And if he did get attacked by another legendary in the sky and crash landed there, who's a better person to take care of a hurt Pokemon than Wolfric?
Yeah, but the thing is,
Wolfric sees something crash out of the sky, goes in and is like, Mewtwo's like, stay the fuck away from me, bro. I'll kill you. And then all these other Pokemon gather around Wolfric and are like, huh? And then Mewtwo's like, oh, I see. You're a cool guy. All right. Fix my arm and I won't kill you.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, don't lick this rock I have back here, okay?
Going back to...
Or he tells Wolfric, like, find me a trainer who can Mega Evolve and send them here when they're worthy.
You see, you don't even get told to go to the Pokemon Village to find Mewtwo.
Wait, okay. The person who blocks the cave. Have you ever read the original Nuzlocke comic?
Not for that
from
one,
Nuzlocke
no.
himself?
No.
In the second Nuzlocke comic from Nuzlocke himself, he does a Fire Red run. And at the very end of it, like, Mewtwo's a character and everything in the whole thing. In a prequel of it or wherever, after Mewtwo's created, Mewtwo goes to Cerulean Cave. And then he's like, he finds a dude just hanging out in Cerulean City, and he says, "Hey, I have a job for you. Can you block this door for me?" And the guy's like, "What do I get out of it?" And then Mewtwo gives him an afro, because you know the afro joke with the cave.
Yes, I know the afro joke was a cave.
Yeah. But like, what if Mewtwo has a trend of either brainwashing or convincing people to help him look for legendary trainers to help unleash his potential? That's why he was in Cerulean Cave. That's why he's in the cave in Kalos. He's looking for a trainer who has the Mega Ring.
Yeah.
And when he finds out that Red doesn't have a Mega Ring, then he's like, well, fuck. I need to go to a different place. Then he crash lands. Wolfric helps him. Wolfric sends a guy to go wait there and only let the champion in. Bit, bam, boom. Mewtwo actually makes sense, finally.
And that's why I'm here, to help you make sense.
Oh, I'm so glad that Mewtwo isn't just some bullshit callback.
No.
Oh man, that makes me still feel so happy. Like, if everything else here is bullshit, at least we have a reason why Mewtwo is in X and Y. Yeah. He's looking for a powerful trainer.
Yep. He's essentially looking for the Kalos version of Red.
The fact that he can communicate with humans in this way proves he is Titan worthy.
Yeah.
Mewtwo is a Titan. His seal is Mew. The only Titan without a seal is Volcanion.
Yeah.
Are there any other Titans?
Thinking.
What are Pokemon that are legendaries that are unique in that they're ignored and they aren't responsible for anything good?
Aren't responsible for anything good? How about Darkrai?
I don't know if Darkrai's a Titan, because
I wouldn't exactly consider him a Titan.
He can only hurt humans and Pokemon individually. Like we don't know of Darkrai having a super powerful form where he puts an entire continent to sleep. You know.
No,
Darkrai could be,
no.
but he doesn't have a seal. He doesn't have any of the patterns.
Yes, he does.
What?
The only
Oh.
way to get to him is with the ability to go into the old hotel in Canalave City.
No. His seal is Cresselia.
His seal is Cresselia, and Cresselia's seal is the Lunar Wing, and the Lunar Wing is tied to
Their
Darkrai.
seal is each other.
They seal each
There was
other.
a lunar Pokemon that might have split into both of them. A Pokemon that was the Lord of Dreams and Nightmares. And then he split into a Pokemon of Dreams and a Pokemon of Nightmares.
Okay, and pulling the Strange House into here because the girl who died on the bridge was trying to bring the Lunar Wing back to Cresselia, and she was killed by the Pokemon of Nightmares.
Mm-hmm.
Going with what you're saying about if there was a big, huge lunar thing who split into Darkrai and Cresselia, what if Darkrai was jealous of Cresselia for being able to make people feel better with their dreams and went to go dispose of it, and the girl had the Lunar Wing and got caught in the crossfire?
Yeah, but don't you use the Lunar Wing on yourself? You use the Lunar Wing on the kid in Platinum. The Lunar Wing is what wakes the kid up. Was the girl more than just asleep? Was she already... She was already dead when she was trying to give the Lunar Wing back.
No.
No.
According to her, she died trying to get it back to it, but same thing.
But... So she cared... So she did wake up. Because how could she get the Lunar Wing if she was asleep? How does a girl pick up a Lunar Wing and deliver it to Cresselia and then fail and then die of being asleep?
You see, you don't while you're asleep. She had to have been conscious, because if you remember, they state that the bridge that you find Cresselia on was not there originally.
So what? Like, does it start with her getting the Lunar Ring, or does it start with her getting the Nightmares?
It starts with her having the nightmares and waking up to find the Lunar Wing.
So someone used the Lunar Ring on her.
Yes, but they left it with her. And she knew what the story was of
She wanted to
Cresselia.
get it back to Cresselia.
She wanted to return it to Cresselia. But the only place she knew of Cresselia is where that bridge is now.
So she
that
took
bridge
it
was
to
not
like
there.
the shoreline.
She took it to the shoreline where dropped it there where Darkrai attacked her, forcing her to drop it. Because Darkrai is
back, and then she ran back, trying to run away from Darkrai, back to the Strange House, locked her in her room. Then Darkrai came through the wall, obviously, and because he's a ghost apparently in this story, and then gives her a nightmare and kills her out of rage. And then, but the Lunar Wing is in her room, and she says, "Oh, the Lunar Wing, I can't use it anymore. Take it."
She can't use it anymore because she can never wake up from what she's in right now.
But how does the Lunar Wing get to her into her room?
You see, none of us know how that happens. It's one of those mysteries like...
So Darkrai and Cresselia could be a twin Titan.
They could be.
But I think that their roles are too universal. I think that there's a bit of responsibility there. I think they fit in more with Dialga and Palkia. And Lugia and Ho-Oh.
What else?
I think they're too tied to humans to be all-powerful, batshit crazy. Like, Volcanion doesn't need a human to fuck shit up. You know?
There is another Titan that you may be forgetting. Something that has a seal.
I'm thinking. Victini?
No. Think about this for a second. You go to a route, and it's thunderstorming. You are then told by someone that it's this all-powerful thing, and it's then traveling around the route. It's then traveling around the Landorus, because the only way to make Landorus appear is to have both Tornadus.
So are you talking about but humans didn't make Tornadus and Thundurus.
No. But here's the thing. Here's what they did create, though. They did create the reveal glass.
To give them their true forms.
Exactly. Their true forms.
I don't know if those forms are Titan-y enough. They don't have world-destructing capabilities, do they?
Together,
true. Okay, so
Together
this is
they
another
do.
split into different forms kind of Titan.
Exactly.
Okay,
Together, they have the storm-bringing capabilities of Tornadus, the thunder abilities of Thunderous, and the ability to use his sandstorms and his ability to spread nutrients around.
Okay, so they used to all go around together. Then humans separated them, and the only way that they could return to their true forms was with the reveal glass.
Exactly.
Okay, so they have a seal. So there's some more Titans. Okay.
Yeah.
What are some Gen... Are there any Gen 1 Titans other than Mewtwo? No, because Gen 1 had no legendaries other than Mewtwo.
The only legendaries that existed other than that were the 3 legendary birds, and I don't even think
And
those
they're
count.
lame as shit. Technically, they fit into the theme of the Titans, as in the legendaries that don't serve a greater purpose, but they're shitty.
Yeah.
The most powerful I've ever seen them is in Smash Bros.
Yeah.
Okay, so Gen 2 Titans. The legendary dogs, no. The legendary birds, no, because they have too much purpose. Ho-Oh has to revive Pokemon that Arceus can't duplicate, and
There
Lugia
is
has
one.
to control the seas.
And the only way it happened was in the
Celebi?
Japanese games.
Celebi?
Celebi. Because the only way to access Celebi was through the GS ball.
But Celebi has a purpose. Celebi has to keep unless Celebi only keeps the forests safe because she chooses the forests.
Because Celebi, yes, Celebi is a grass type,
And
but
Celebi's seal is the shrine in the forest, the Ilex shrine.
there we go. Now
So
we're
there's another
catching
Titan.
on.
Yeah, time travel, even though she doesn't have world destruction capabilities on her own, she can fuck shit up if she wanted to. But humans made a decision to her to tie her to the forest.
Yeah.
And that's
Because
why in the movie she goes fucking batshit crazy. Because she has that power. In the movie she's a Titan.
In the movie, she's a Titan because
movie,
she's
she makes
warped
a Titan.
she builds a Titan.
Like corrupted purple Celebi, that's a Titan.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so Gen 3. Regigigas. Regis are the seal.
And the Regis have their own seal.
Yeah, the Regis themselves got really powerful.
The Regis themselves have the seal of needing...
Because they were made by the same power that was held inside Regigigas.
Exactly.
The humans probably convinced Regigigas to make the Regis, and then they turned the Regis against him. Jirachi doesn't have a seal other than the 1,000 years thing.
Other than the 1,000 years thing for 7 days.
I think we're getting away from what the Titans are supposed to be. The Titans are supposed to be big space monsters, like
Missing.
like Super DNC, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I would consider just every Pokemon that has a seal to be it. Heathrin, I get being able to erupt every single volcano. Yeah. Volcanion, I get being able to destroy a mountain. I get. Jirachi, I don't think so. Celebi, I don't think so.
The
Mewtwo,
forces of nature.
The forces of nature?
Yeah, what about those?
What are the forces of nature?
Lando, Thunderous, and Tornadus.
Yeah, those guys. Possibly.
Okay.
But I don't think they're spacey enough. You know? I think they just kind of happened like the 4 dog musketeers.
Oh, you're talking about like
I think
Keldeo, Virizion, Tracheon, and
I think
Cobalion.
they're in this. I think the genies are in the same boat as them, because they're not from space. You know,
No.
they need to be either from space or from a different thing or something batshit crazy. You know. Okay, so Gen 3 doesn't really have any Titans.
Not really.
I'm trying to think. Jirachi is really the only mythical Pokemon there. Okay, then we got like Manaphy and Fion, who don't do anything. They don't do anything.
No, as far as I'm concerned, Manaphy and Fion were an afterthought.
Yeah, for the the other games and everything. Okay, so what else do we have? We had Latias and Latios.
Latias and Latios.
They didn't really fuck shit up though. They were just kind of helpful.
They were ridiculously helpful.
I mean, in terms of the history.
Yes, of course.
The Neon Duo and the Soul Duo and everything.
But hold on. I'm going to use Pokemon Heroes as an example. The Soul Dew was able to essentially destroy things if it was removed from a certain pool and put into a certain machine, because that machine was able to do pretty much anything.
It was just a power source, though.
Like Yveltal and Xerneas?
Yeah, but they're not Titans.
Nope, they're not.
They serve a greater purpose.
They
sadly.
do. Yeah.
Titans have to be assholes, or just good because they're assholes. Like
Good
like
because.
like Zygarde. Zygarde is good because he chooses to be good.
Okay,
The
then.
main goal is choice. Regigigas,
Yes.
I don't know so much about his choice, but we can't not call him a Titan. He's
We
the
can't,
original
because
Titan.
He is, yeah. He's the ultimate Titan. He's like the biggest thing.
So look forward to Generation 6.5 could be a slightly different past where Hoopa has fucked some shit up. Or it could be that Lysander's trying to get the attention of Zygarde to wipe the slate clean of the entire environment.
Or it could not be either of those things. It could easily be just Jurassic being stupid.
Yeah, Jurassic could just pull a Charon.
Exactly.
By the way, Charon used Heatran like a boss in the manga.
That's true. Also, Charon is the reason that Rotom is in the TV.
True.
Because they explain that in Pokemon Platinum.
Rotom, not a Titan.
No, not a Titan at all. Okay, let's
Okay. Kyurem, Titan.
Kyurem is a Titan because his full power cannot be revealed unless he uses the DNA splicers.
And that's not even full, because that's only one of them.
Yeah. And Kyurem has been confirmed to have been an original dragon.
Yeah. And he came from space.
He did?
Came from space. So Kyurem, Regigigas, we have Zygarde, we have Super Diancie, like the goddess of Mega Evolution, that is preserved within the energy of all the Mega Stones, which is preserved inside Diancie. And then Hoopa Unbound. And then Volcanion
Unbound
and
is just
Heatran. And then
batshit,
Volcanion and Heatran as just general assholes who have ridiculous power.
Yeah, because let's see. Volcanion can blow shit up and then just kind of walk away undetected. Heatran can sit at one location
And destroy everything.
just kind of destroy everything by blowing up everything using magma.
The very earthquakes he could cause just from erupting everything.
Yeah. By erupting at even one volcano could shut down ecosystems like with the snap of his... He doesn't even have fingers. What the hell am I talking about?
Yeah, he was was he like born from a volcano?
He's supposed to be, yeah. He's not born from the volcano like Entei was. He was more or less
Born from
lava.
the center of the earth.
Yeah, he's more of a earth core style mon.
Okay, let's look at Volcanion just for our last subject.
Yes.
How was that made?
How would Oh, man. Am I the only one who thinks that Volcanion looks slightly man-made and not organic at all?
I think he is. Okay,
What, man-made?
Look at the symbol of his ring, okay?
The symbol of his ring looks slightly hazardous, I think.
Okay.
Let's look at this.
Have we seen a shrine to any ring like that?
Give me a minute to boot up an image, and I will tell you.
Have we seen a shrine devoted to him? A big ring. Kalos has a lot of things.
Kalos does have a lot of things, but I don't think a big ring is one of them. Let's look at this. Because when he opens up when he detaches his arms,
It's very man-made.
it looks extremely man-made.
Like Genesect man-made. Genesect, by the way, was also on the boat of like Mewtwo in terms of like ancient potential Titan.
Yes.
Because what's the bug that I just said? I just forgot his name. Genesect.
Genesect.
Genesect, is supposed to be ancient thing, made better with today's technology. He could be a Titan, but he doesn't have a seal. So I think Volcanion is a Xerosic experiment.
He could be.
he could be a Zerosic experiment, which would explain why Zygarde would get pissed off at humans. Is if humans mate Zygarde. I think he is a human experiment. Look at him up close.
Yeah, he looks extremely man-made.
Okay, so to close off this, here are official predictions from Generation 7 and Generation 6.5. Generation 7, it takes place in Africa with Egyptian gods as its center point. And it's going to talk about probably Hoopa and stuff and how all the regions interconnect with each other. And there's going to be really, really powerful gods. And shit's going to get real like Gen 4 style.
Yeah.
Generation 6.5, there's going to be slight changes in the past due to Hoopa's interference. Zerosic is going to make Volcanion. Diancie is going to take her Mega Form. And no, Diancie's a mythical Pokemon. She's not going to interact with it at all. Zygarde's going to get pissed off and try to wipe the slate clean. Humans, the good guys, might even try to get Zygarde to help them. You might have to catch Zygarde and use 1,000 arrows or, likewise, 1,000 waves to try to take down Xerneas or Yveltal if it's Y2 and X2. But most importantly, Africa and Volcanion's going to be man-made.
That sounds like everything.
Yeah. Also be on the lookout for Super Titans and other space gods. As for the movie, Zerosic creates Volcanion, Hoopa fucks shit up, and Zygarde gets really mad and goes Super Zygarde. Zygarde goes Super Zygarde.
Yeah.
All right. See you in Africa, everyone.
Yeah, really, though. Don't forget your sunscreen.
Hoopa. Okay, also important. All the tunnels underneath all the places, Hoopa led people through hyperspace portals to other regions. I think that is our most important find of the day.
That is our most important find, because that one thing...
Those things must still be active, because Pokemon still use them. People don't, but Pokemon still use them.
You're right, they do.
The lake trios do this. They use those things. They're always found in those caves, and those caves have hyperspace portals. They're even in Hoenn.
Of course they are. Let's take a look at Oros for a minute. All of the Mirage spots, those are all connected to where they were originally put. So
And Hoopa doesn't have to be there for them to exist there.
Nope. Doesn't.
Just they appear sometimes when certain conditions are met, just like with the odd keys, just like with Ho-Oh and Lugia.
Yep.
You are
I think
ever so right.
maybe when Hoopa is bounded, certain portals just stay up and they just are unstable and exist. I don't know, man. I've been holding in my pee for a while. I think we're done here.
I want to agree.
All right, man. All right. That's Swift.
Indeed, I am.
I'm Pat. And welcome to a new age of Pokemon. With Pokemon so powerful, I don't even want to call them Pokemon anymore. Meet your new gods.
Essentially, that's exactly what these things are.
Hoopa is not any Pokemon anyone would have thought of. It does not look like a Pokemon. Zygarde's super form, it's just too big. And that statue has to be of some kind of space goddess of Mega Evolution. Maybe even the creator of fairy type. I don't know, man.
I don't know either.
Also, just the what's the name of the northern city in Kalos?
The which one?
The fairy town.
Lavere
City, and just like the ghost versus fairy angered like war. I mentioned that in the first Defeatist episode. I talk about how fairies and ghost types are in a war with each other. Oh, quickly. Tell your thing about the gym leader and the kimono girls.
Ooh, I love this. There's a fan theory going around.
Get right up.
Ooh, I'm right up to here. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
Lovely. Okay, there is a fan theory going around that I completely support. And yes, I have to go to the anime for part of it. When you go up to Valerie, and when Ash gets to Valerie in the anime, the colorations of the room she is in and the decor around her look like Ekrutik City. She's wearing a kimono-like outfit, and her signature Pokemon
Is an evolution.
People think that she is an ex-kimono girl. That's
Driven
all the way
crazy
from...
by fairy types.
Yeah. I love this theory. This theory makes so much sense.
Also, her cult of Fury-Sode girls is just a venting of her hatred or jealousy or sadness that she was kicked out of the Kimono Girls Club.
Exactly.
Now we have to find the 2 other Kimono girls with Leafeon and Glaceon.
Oh no. This'll be good.
Gen 4 remakes. Oh, Gen 4 remakes alongside Egyptian gods? What?
Oh my
That's crazy.
Pat, I have something we totally need to do.
What?
You need to totally stream this. You need to find a way to get a copy of one of the Gen 4 games. And you need to search and see if you can find a Kimono Girls that have the evolutions.
Oh my god.
I will totally be there for your live stream of that if you do it.
I have a copy of Platinum that I've been playing. I stopped playing it a long time ago. It was a pair lock. It was a paired Comaron before Comarons. I invented those. I could get back on it. It's a Platinum run. And I haven't encountered any Leafeon or Glaceon yet, but I could play it and we could see. It is on Desmume, though. It would kind of lag a bit, but it should be good.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Yeah.
We covered a lot today in 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours of a lot of information. Oh my god, I don't even think I've thought up that much information in my life before.
This is more than the Mythology cast, which was mostly bullshit, but the Mythology cast, which I never got to upload because someone never edited it together. I have the audio files, though. It was basically this because we talked about Hoopa and Volcanion and everything. So I'm glad that this has been like the spiritual successor of it.
I'm glad I could be a part of it.
Yes. Welcome to the channel, buddy. You need a...
Yes!
You know how Laura is Sacred Ash, and I'm FullRestore, or Pat the Breeder, and Bushy is Professor Bushy, who's, Blaine.
Of course.
And we have a friend named Dawnstone. We have another friend named the Regerman, as in like Regirock, but Red German. It's his other username. What's your username going to be here? You gonna go with a Pokemon item or Pokemon or something? Just gonna be Swiss Solo?
I am going to be. It's what I've gone with for a while, and it's who I am.
Swiss Solo?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna get working on a thumbnail little thing for you for next time we do a podcast like this.
All right.
All right. Oh, I love that image. I love that thumbnail. It's so good.
That was good.
Yeah. Sorry about the fuzziness of the text. Okay. Goodbye, everybody.
We'll see you in Africa.
I'm so sorry for taking 2.5 hours out of your life, but you liked it.
Oh my god, this has easily been one of the best 2.5 hours of my life.
Hey, count the 3 hours before that.
Oh, that's right. Ooh.
Yeah. I probably, along with this, I uploaded a very long random talk thing. Yeah. Okay. Goodbye, everybody.
See you later.
If you have suggestions, comments, and email, and Twitter, and Pokeamino, send them in. We're in this together. As long as you said that we called it was Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Goodbye, everybody.